Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new Afrikan Black Panther Party, NAB PP North. All power to the people.
Let me see.
A party that gardens together stays together. This is the People's Garden. We are setting up. From help of our good friend, Sergio. It's part of the United Panther Movement. The United Panther Movement are those who believe in our 10-point program, which is basically providing services to the community. Free breakfast program, free food program, free health clinic, pig patrols, and we have programs for the kids, after school programs, summer camps. We do all of this because we understand the importance and the needs of the people. So we're planning the community garden. This is the garden for the people. But we need help. We need help from you guys. So join the United Panther Movement. To learn more, contact General Secretary Patience at 862-283-9917 or email patiencerow@yahoo.com. That is in PATHEROW@yahoo.com. To help support the work we do, please send donations to Cash App, $ I live for the people, or Venmo /Zelle at phone number 862-283-9917. This is General Secretary Patience of the New African Black Panther Party, NAB PP North. All power to the people.
All power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people. Welcome to All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talking Express Yourself. This space is for activists. We're here to find people that are interested in doing the work that we need to do in our communities to change the conditions in our communities. That is our only purpose here. That is our only purpose here. We're not here to make money. We're not here to tell you to go follow anybody. We're not here to do any of that. We're here to find people that are interested in changing the conditions in our community and doing something about it, period. I mean, there's no other space like this. There's no other media platform. Anybody that talks, they call themselves liberation revolutionaries, they be lying. They be lying because at the end of the day, if you listen to all of them, their answers are still going back into the institutions that are holding us in the condition that we're in now. That is their only solution. They have no solutions. They can talk to you about the conditions we're going through a little bit. They can go all the way in depth. They can talk about the hell we catch in our communities, but most of the time they're not even in our communities. The people that have platforms, most of them, 99.99% of them are not from our communities. They don't live in our communities. They don't eat, breathe, sleep in our communities. They just talk about us from their suburbs. This is the only space anywhere, everywhere that I know about that is by the people, for the people, that do work for the people, that put in work in the community, that has solutions, not just bumping gums and talking, just blah, 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 just rhetoric the whole time. I mean, trying to reach people through emotional appeal. No solutions at all. Don't work for the people, don't serve the people, don't do nothing for the people. Not here. Here we do all that work. If you have problem with housing, the telephone number right there. Hit that telephone number. You have problem with eating, hit that telephone number. You're dealing with the police, hit that telephone number. Whatever issue you're dealing with in the community, we're here to assist you. That is what Pantherism is. That is why the Black Panthers exist. We're here to serve the community. I didn't say nothing about taking money from the community, robbing the community, exploiting the community. I said we're here to serve the community. I mean, we're listening to Carter G. Woodson. We've been listening to him for the last, 13 weeks, because we're on chapter 13 now. And everything that we do is scientific. How the strategies, the programs that we implement in the community to serve the community, everything we do is scientific. It comes from studying our past, our history, and listen to what our elders told us to do. And we implement that. We don't just listen to it and we talk about it and we do podcasts talking about what they said back then. No, we do something about it. Whatever they tell us to do, that's what we're doing. That's why we give out the free food. That's why at least 3 times a week we deliver groceries to people's homes. Because that's what our ancestors said we must do. We must take care of ourselves. We must take care of our communities. We must have that village. We must build that village. That's what they told us to do, and that's what we're doing. That is the mandate. The time for talking, the time for waiting, for saying maybe if we do this, if we do that, things are going to change. Those days are over. Those days are long gone. Where we at now is understanding with the battlegrounds. There's no negotiation that can be made with politicians. There's no policies that politicians can write or pass that's going to change our conditions on the ground. That's not how it works. If you understand politics, if you took any political education, you understand our enemy is imperialism. That's who our enemy is, imperialism. Imperialists own everything. They own our homes. We work for them. They control everything. They control the media. They control the politicians. They control the judges, the lawyers, the police. They control everything. So it's not like we saying, dumb. They did this, they did that. No, we're telling you, imperialist. Who own your building you live in? Who own the home you in? The bank? A corporation? Those are the people that are our enemies. Not the average person on the street. Not somebody struggling to survive, working 2-3 jobs if they could find a job. That's not who our enemy is. not no white person. A white person is not my enemy, because white people don't teach in my schools. White people are not the one miseducating the children in our schools. White people are not the one in city council, city hall, in the school board. If you live in the black community, everybody here that's maintaining the institutions of oppression looks like you. Looks like you. They're only doing the work of what the imperialists want them to do, from the curriculum to not even allowing you to dictate your child's future. You can't even go into school and tell these people anything about your child. They tell you what to do and how it must be done. They let you know when your child going to leave that school. You can't go into school and just take your child out. If they're taking the test in there, they're testing, I don't care what emergency it is. You go in that school, they're going to refuse you. How do I know? I went in there. I pick up children all the time from school. We have no control in our community. And reading Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of a Negro, he lays all that out. Why we have no power. Why we don't control anything in our community. Who controls it. Who our enemy is. And what we must do to get out of that predicament. That's why we read this. I'm about to start it off. I'm going to try not to stop it too many times, but it be deep. The things he be talking about be deep. We need to have a conversation about it. And once again, if anybody want to say anything, put your hand up. If I don't see your hand, like when I pause or something, like try to slip in there and let me know what you're thinking. Because this is conversation. Like we need to have these conversations. We need to struggle with these ideas so we could bring about something new.
Chapter 13. Understand the Negro. We do not offer any course in Negro history, Negro literature, or race relations, recently said a professor of a Negro college. We study the Negro along with other people. An excellent idea, the interviewer replied. No one should expect you to do any more than this, but how do you do it when the Negro is not mentioned in your textbooks except to be condemned? Do you, a teacher in a Negro school, also condemn the race in the same fashion as the writers of your textbooks of history and literature? No, said he. We bring the Negro in here and there. How often does here and there connote? Well, you know, he said, Negroes have not done much, and what they have accomplished may be briefly covered by referring to the achievements of a few men and women. Why do you emphasize the special study of the Negro, said he further. Why is it necessary to give the race special attention in the press, on the rostrum, or in the schoolroom? The idea of projecting the Negro into the foreground does the race much harm by singing continually of its woes and problems, and thus alienating the public, which deserves to give its attention to other things. It is true that many Negroes do not desire to hear anything about the race, and few whites of today will listen to the story of woe. With most of them, the race question has been settled. The Negro has been assigned to the lowest drudgery as the sphere in which the masses must toil to make a living, and socially and politically, the race has been generally proscribed. Inasmuch as the traducers of race have settled the matter in this fashion, they naturally oppose any effort to change this status. Many Negro professional men are making a living attending to the affairs of these laborers and servants in their mentally undeveloped state, and many teachers who in conservative fashion are instructing their children to maintain the status quo ante bellum also oppose any movement to upset this arrangement. They are getting paid for their efforts. Why should they try innovations? The gods have so decreed it. Human beings cannot change it. Why be foolish?
He's telling you about when he wrote this book. When he wrote this book was around the 1920s. I mean, I think it was published in the 30s, in 1930. But you have to, we must I would guess he was putting this book together because this book's a collection of all the things that he did, all the essays he wrote, everything that he did from like the 20s on, his career, like traveling around the world, going to different places, teaching all around the world. And what he's trying to convey to us right here, remember, this is over 100 years ago. He's telling us the condition of black folks after slavery, about 30, 40 years after slavery. He's telling us, no, not 30, about 50 years after slavery. He's telling us the condition of black folks at that time. And he said that the professional black people, that we're working in these schools, in these institutions, they have basically given up on liberation, on freeing black people, on black people controlling their destiny. They were good with it. Why? Because they were getting paid for it. Why change anything? Why rock the boat? They're getting paid. They're getting money. That's how they take care of themselves. Because if you rock the boat, then you're not going to be getting that money no more. So why change anything? Somebody mic is on. Somebody, you got to cut your mic off unless you want to say something. But seriously, think about that and compare that to today, to our current time right now. All these people that are working in these schools making $80, $90, $100,000, they're not trying to change the status quo. Yo, if you talk to them, yo, we free. We all free. But if you have the mindset to be able to go back, to understand where we came from and where we are right now, you understand that those people are traitors. And the only reason why they're saying we're free is because they're eating. They're doing good. And that's what it's explaining right here. That's what it's explaining. Most of these people have given up. I'm going to go back just a little bit, just a few seconds, so you can hear them say it again.
To oppose any movement to upset this arrangement. They are getting living attending to the affairs of these laborers and servants in their mentally undeveloped state, and many teachers who in conservative fashion are instructing their children to maintain the status quo ante bellum also oppose any movement to upset this arrangement.
Oppose.
They are getting paid for their efforts. Why should they try innovations? The gods have so decreed it. Human beings cannot change it. Why be foolish? A Negro with sufficient thought to construct a program of his own is undesirable, and the educational systems of this country generally refuse to work with such Negroes in promoting their cause. The program for the uplift of the Negroes in this country must be handed over to an executive force like orders from the throne, and they must carry it out without question or get out of line and let the procession go on.
Anybody, any educator, any thinker that thinks they should teach our people what they need to know, the history that they need to know, that need to teach them what we need to know to survive here, those people are not accepted in the institutions of white supremacy at his time, of imperialism of today. Because back then they saw it from a racial context, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. But 100 years later, we understand it's more of a class thing. Because you could have somebody that look just as you, just as black as you, being the one that oppressing you. There's no difference. There's a class issue here. Most of those middle class black folks, those black folks that have a little bit of money, they would try to conflate it and make it seem like it's race, 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 race. It's all about race. It's all about race. They refuse to talk about or deal with the class aspect of it. And we can't do that no more. We must deal with class. We can't, like, the more we say race, 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 a small percentage of black folks keep benefiting while we stay in the current condition. Not even in the current condition, because it gets worse. Our condition has been getting worse and worse and worse. And by the end of the show, we got the data, we got the charts and everything to show you.
Although the Negro is being daily forced more and more by segregation into a world uniquely his own, his unusually perplexing status is given little or no thought, and he's not considered capable of thinking for himself. The chief difficulty with the education of the Negro is that it has been largely imitation, resulting in the enslavement of his mind. Somebody outside of the race has desired to try out on Negroes some experiment which interested him and his co-workers. And Negroes, being objects of charity, have received them cordially and have done what they required. In fact, the keynote in the education of the Negro has been to do what he is told to do. Any Negro who has learned to do this is well prepared to function in the American social order as others would have him. Looking over the courses of study of the public...
You heard him? If you're willing to submit yourself to American hegemony, what America says it is, if you're willing to go along with that lie, like America's a democracy, the police are here to protect and serve, the national anthem, all this stuff in the school, you're willing to go in there and force feed our children the national anthem to make them think that they're part of the system, that they're not being held down. There's no system around them that's keeping them at the bottom. If you're willing to just admit that America is the greatest place in the world, that everything is perfect, you can navigate through this system. You could be whatever you want to be. Those are the kind of people of color, black people, that they're looking for. You will eat good in this system. But if you see people getting shot down in the street and you wonder, like, why is the prisons all full with all black people? Why we got to come to school and learn all these things that don't pertain to real life, the stuff that we're dealing with out there when we go outside this classroom? When you start to question the society or question what they're teaching, what they're telling us is truth, they're going to push you right out that door. They're going to show you how real it is out there. And that's what it's explaining over 100 years ago. Ain't nothing changed. It's the same thing right now. You can, like when they had the COVID, and they got all these people, all these teachers, all these people in government taking the shot, whatever. Go ahead, tell them you ain't taking it. Go stand in and tell them you ain't taking it. They got something for you. Sooner or later, they're going to push you right on out. Or they're going to make it difficult for you to continue to work. They're going to be asking you for a test. Every time you go in there, you got to show them a test. They're going to find ways. And then the people that are in power, because you don't want to upset the people in power. Whoever's in power, the superintendent, all this, they know who didn't take that whatever. I don't want to say the word for they cancel this stream, whatever. But they know who. You remember the pressure. You couldn't go to the movies. You couldn't go shopping. They didn't want to leave you out your house. They didn't want you to leave out your house if you didn't take it. But the people that were going around saying they took it, the people that were shaming other people, shaming other Americans, telling them that it's their fault, that if they go take a shot for something, that even if they take the shot for, they're not going to stop from getting it or stop them from giving it to somebody else. But if they don't go take that shot, they can't go outside. They can't go to the movies. They can send their kids to school. They should be locked up. This is what people were saying. Just a few, like a couple of years ago. You was here for that. Y'all saw that. Y'all was siding with them, with MSNBC, CNN, all these people. Fauci. Y'all siding with all them people, all them criminals, all them sociopaths. And what now? What now today? Now we could look back and see what they really did. When you had time to look back, you needed to take that shot? You needed to give that shot to your children? Did you? Did you even go look it up to see if you needed to give it to your children? If you needed to take it? Do you still take it? Or is it here forever now? But if you're willing to go along with what these politicians, these celebrities, this entertainer, this imperialist, if you're willing to go along with their hegemony, you'll be all right. You're going to live good. You're going to live good. They're going to use you to oppress everybody else. That's what he's telling you.
Public schools, one finds little to show that the Negro figures in these curricula. In supplementary matter, a good deed of some Negro is occasionally referred to, but oftener the race is mentioned only to be held up to ridicule. With the exception of a few places like Atlantic City, Atlanta, Tulsa, St. Louis, Birmingham, Knoxville, and the states of Louisiana and North Carolina, no effort is made to study the Negro in public schools as they do the Latin, the Teuton, or the Mongolian. Several miseducated Negroes themselves contend that the study of the Negro by children would bring before them the race problem prematurely, and therefore urge that the study of the race be deferred until they reach advanced work in the college or university.
Oh, God. Hey, he's talking about right there. He's talking about the black professionals. They usually say, like, don't teach about racism. Don't teach children about racism in first, second, third grade. Don't teach them about how the system really works, how reality really works, how the world really works. And you'll wait till they get to like college to start teaching them. That's what they say. While our children are going to school from first grade, from kindergarten, and they're sitting there and they're being told the Pledge of Allegiance, for them to get up, put their hand over their heart to listen to the Pledge of Allegiance. That's what our children are being told in 2024 when they go to school. If you didn't know that, you need to talk to your children, because they tell me that. The first graders, second graders, third graders, fourth, all of them, they listen to this stuff. And when they come in the car and they tell me, so I asked them in the car, like, do you think you should listen to the national anthem? If you should put your hand on your heart, listen to the national anthem, saying it every day, every morning in school, if these are the people that killed Fred Hampton. Because the children know about Fred Hampton. From kindergarten up, we work on reading. Remember, we say this is about solutions? We work on reading. We have after-school programs because they know this. We know the schools is miseducating our children. So we have after-school programs to combat it. See, we came up with that. We sat down, we had a meeting, we said we had to come up with a strategy. We can't go inside the schools and rip the kids out of the schools. So what do we do? How do we try to impact what's going on or change the direction that our kids are going in? So we came up with the idea of starting an after-school program. The after-school program comprised of some sports. They play sports too. Do boxing, all that. The kids want to learn boxing. So you bring them in, we read for like 20, 30 minutes, and then we go into the day. Go into the boxing, the drills, whatever, the working out that we do. We make it work. But you teach them how to read. All power to the people.
All power to the people. We teach them how to read, but we teach them what to read. Like
All
they're
power.
about their revolutionary leaders, their history, their ancestry.
Exactly.
So it's important for them to read, but it's important what they're reading.
I was about to get to that, General Secretary. And what are they reading? They're reading about Fred Hampton. They're reading about the police going in there and shooting Fred Hampton and killing him in his bed while he was asleep. And then when they go to school and they listen, they got their hand on their heart, pledging their allegiance. And then I asked them in the car, what do you think about pledging their allegiance to the government that killed Fred Hampton? You should see the look on their face when they put it together. One of the young ladies in the car said, "Yo, it's time to get even. We gotta get some get back." Hey, Captain Patience, what did she say? Do you remember what Kylie said, Captain Patience? I don't know. Anyway, Kylie said we got to get some get back. Kylie in the 4th grade. And they stopped. They said, we're not doing it no more. We're not pledging their allegiance in school no more.
The Negro by children would bring before them the race problem prematurely and therefore urged that the study of the race be deferred until they reach advanced work in the college or university. These misguided teachers ignore the fact that the race question is being brought before black and white children daily in their homes, in the streets, through the press, and on the rostrum. How then can the school ignore the duty of teaching the truth while these other agencies are playing up falsehood?
You hear that? You hear that? Every day in their life, he's telling you, every day in their life, they're witnessing racism. They're seeing it. They're seeing the police policing their community. They're seeing the buildings that they live in. They're seeing the conditions. They're seeing their classroom. It's like 30 kids in the classroom, one teacher. They're going through all of that. And they're learning how to manipulate the system, how not to listen to the teacher because they understand the teacher can't do nothing to them. Nobody's going to hold them accountable in that space. So they're learning from an early age, from kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. They're learning how to manipulate the system, how they can lie, and nobody's going to hold them accountable. I see them every day. We have these conversations in the car. Bro, I got a kid he just gets up and leaves the classroom. Every day I come to pick him up, they're complaining about how his behavior in school. And I talk to him. It's because he understands those people will never hold him accountable. That's why he behaves the way he behaves. And he tells me this. It makes sense to me. If I was a kid and I knew I could get away with whatever, I would do whatever because I'm a child. I'm pushing the boundaries. I want to do what I want. That is not how our institutions should function, institutions by us. When they come inside that gym, that after-school program, you don't do what you want. If you don't want to listen, go sit down. Go put your clothes on, sit down over there. You don't have to do nothing. I'm going to take you home, and I'm going to tell your mother you don't want to participate. You don't never have to come back. This is being held accountable. You don't have to beat them. You have to do none of that. You just remove him from everybody else and tell him, go sit down. And while he's sitting down, he's thinking about it. You know what they usually do? They come and ask me if they could get back in and participate. You don't want to listen, you want to goof around, go sit down. This ain't the place for that. I mean, this is not the place for that. You're here to learn. That's not how school works. You can't treat them like that in school. You tell them to go sit down, he tell you no, what you going to do? Nothing. You're going to move on because you can't keep calling the principal. They're going to start saying you can't handle your classroom. But he's saying, before I go back on, he's saying, how can you not teach these children about race, about the world around them, but when they walk up out of that classroom, they got to go deal with all of that stuff? That makes sense to me. It don't make sense to you? It makes sense to me.
Experience of college instructors through the press and on the rostrum. How then can the school ignore the duty of teaching the truth while these other agencies are playing up falsehood? The experience of college instructors shows that racial attitudes of the youth are not easily changed after they reach adolescence. Although students of this advanced stage are shown the fallacy of race superiority and the folly of social distinctions, they nevertheless continue to do the illogical thing of still looking upon these despised groups as less worthy than themselves and persist in treating them accordingly. Teachers of elementary and secondary schools giving attention to this interracial problem have succeeded in softening and changing the attitude of children whose judgment has not been so hopelessly warped by the general attitude of the communities in which they've been brought up. In approaching this problem in this fashion, to counteract the one-sided education of youth, the thinking people of this country have no desire to upset the curricula of the schools or to force the Negro as such into public discussion. But if the Negro is to be elevated, he must be educated in the sense of being developed from what he is, and the public must be so enlightened as to think of the Negro as a man. Furthermore, no one can be thoroughly educated until he learns as much about the Negro as he knows about other people. Upon examining the recent catalogs of leading Negro colleges, one finds that invariably they give courses in ancient, medieval, and modern Europe, but they do not give such courses in ancient, medieval, and modern Africa. Yet Africa, according to recent discoveries, has contributed about as much to the progress of mankind as Europe has, and the early civilization of the Mediterranean world was decidedly influenced by Africa. Negro colleges offer courses bearing on the European colonists prior to their coming to America, their settlement on the shores, and their development here toward independence. Why are they not equally generous with the Negroes in treating their status in Africa prior to enslavement, their first transplantation to the West Indies, the Latinization of certain Negroes in contradistinction to the development of others under the influence of the Teuton, and the effort of the race toward self-expression? A further examination of their curricula shows, too, that invariably these Negro colleges offer courses in Greek philosophy and in that of modern European thought, but they direct no attention to the philosophy of the African. Negroes of Africa have and always have had their own ideas about the nature of the universe, time and space, about appearance and reality, and about freedom and necessity. The effort of the Negro to interpret man's relation to the universe shows just as much intelligence as we find in the philosophy of the Greeks. There were many Africans who were just as wise as Socrates. Again, one observes in some of these catalogs numerous courses in art, but no well-defined course in Negro or African art which early influenced that of the Greeks. Thinkers are now saying that the early culture of the Mediterranean was chiefly African. Most of these colleges do not even direct special attention to Negro music, in which the Negro has made his outstanding contribution in America. The unreasonable attitude is that because the whites do not have these things in their schools, the Negroes must not have them in theirs. The Catholics and Jews, therefore, are wrong in establishing special schools to teach their principles of religion, and the Germans in America are unwise in having their children taught their mother tongue. Such has been the education of Negroes. They've been taught facts of history, but have never learned to think. Their conception is that you go to school to find out what other people have done, and then you go out in life to imitate them. What they've done can be done by others, they contend, and they are right. They are wrong, however, in failing to realize that what others have done, we may not need to do. If we are to do distinctively the same thing from generation to generation, we would not make any progress. If we are to duplicate from century to century the same feats, the world will grow tired of such a monotonous performance. In this particular respect, Negro education is a failure, and disastrously so, because in its present predicament, the race is especially in need of vision and invention to give humanity something new.
You hear what he's saying about our education? And how has it changed in 100 years? It's schools right now. If you drive, I think it's through Livingston. I remember when I was working with the high school coaching basketball, we used to go to schools, and it was an all-Jewish school. It was an all-Jewish school. You walk through there, you could see the difference between their school and our schools. You could see how they have their heroes all up on the wall. They have their cultural stuff all up on the wall. But we have no schools of our own. We send our children into this imperialist factories, social conditioning factories, to turn out prisoners, from school to prison pipeline, turn people out into the streets, or just Uncle Toms, just sellouts, because that's all they produce. If you go through those institutions and you manage to get out of there and get a job and be able to work you just part of the system. You're part of the system. You're not doing nothing to change the condition or nothing. You're what they want you to be. Just go on. You're going on like everything is okay. Like the majority of our people not catching hell out here. I'll be sitting down watching people like celebrities, entertainers, or academics. I watch them giving interviews, and they sit up there all calm, laughing, joking, as if we're free. As if our people not sleeping on the streets, not getting shot down in the streets, not all in this modern-day plantation prisons, going through the judicial system. They act like we're all free. They grab that American flag and they wrap it around them, and they're running around throwing balls, playing ball games and all of this goofy stuff. And then they walk around with arrogance. You a court jester. You a rapper. You sing, you write songs. Walk around with arrogance. You a traitor to your people. You sit up in these higher education spaces and you lie to your own people. You exploit your own people. You work for the system that's oppressing your people, and you go sit up on these platforms everywhere. You know millions of people are watching you, and you're smiling and grinning as if we're free. Because they've given up. They've given up on us. We not free. We ain't been free since we landed on these shores. And everybody that's telling you we free, that's telling you there's a democracy, that's telling you just go to school, do this, and you're going to be all right, you shouldn't be listening to them. They're traitors. They're traitors to our people. And our people, like, you don't know that because you grew up in the system and everybody's smiling like that. When I was little, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, all of them, whatever athlete, Ken Griffey Jr., all these people, the people that you watch TV and you looked at, the educators, Cornell West, all these people, they sit up there with their fancy suits and their proximity to imperialism, and they smile and joke like everything is cool because they're eating well while everybody else is starving. And in their solutions, in all of their solutions, all the stuff they say, even Cornel West, he was just running for president. There's nothing about building institutions. They're not going to talk about using their money, their blood money, to organize a community to build institutions for our people. They're not going to talk about that. They're going to tell you to go vote in imperialist elections. That's what they're going to tell you. Elections that they know are paid and fought for. Even though they're telling you these elections are paid and bought, they're still telling you to go vote in them. They're telling you that's how you change your condition here on the ground. Nah, that ain't how you change it. We do it together. We walk away from these systems. We use our money on the plantations to build our own institutions. That's how you do it. You feed your own people. You house your own people. That's how you do it. You see, but that takes love for the people. That takes sacrifice. And most of these people don't want to do it. And that is why they give them to you for you to listen to. Somebody trying to say something? Carry on.
The world does not want and will never have the heroes and heroines of the past. What this age needs is an enlightened youth not to undertake the tasks like theirs, but to imbibe the spirit of these great men and answer the call of duty with equal nobleness of soul. Not only do the needs of generations vary, but the individuals themselves are not duplicates the one of the other. And being different in this respect, their only hope to function efficiently in society is to know themselves and the generation which they are to serve. The chief value in studying the records of others is to become better acquainted with oneself and with one's possibilities to live and to do in the present age.
You notice how he keeps saying about serve? He keeps saying about serve. They know who to serve. You must know the people in the community, the people of your town. You must know what they're going through. That's what Panthers do. You can't never go in front of the people and you start telling the people. No, you go to the people. What's going on? What's bothering you? What's the conditions here that you're suffering from? They're suffering from housing. They're suffering from police brutality. They're suffering from the slum lords. Like when they get home from work, after working all these hours, you get home, they put paper on your door telling you you're getting kicked out. When they're not supposed to do that. All of that is terrorism. They're just bringing terror upon your life. The sheriff department is the only person that can come in there and remove you from those premises. But you don't go to court, you don't do nothing. They just double your rent. Then when you come home after you're tired from working and you're thinking like, even all this money that I make is not even going to be enough for me to pay the rent, to pay the car note, to pay the insurance, to buy food, to take care of the kids. You're thinking, you have all those thoughts in your mind. You just worked all them hours, you're tired. You ain't see your kids all day. You're walking about to go in the house, they got a paper on your door. And that paper is saying, by next month, if you don't pay the total balance of the money that they done jerked around and raised it up, double the rent illegally. If you don't pay that stuff, they're gonna kick you into the street. So now you walk in the house, you're stressing. You haven't even cooked, you haven't even ate, you haven't even fed the children, you haven't even seen them yet. Then you have stupid people talking about something. It starts at home. It's your fault. It's your fault. Whatever's going on in the community, it's your fault. It's the people's fault. Because those people are either idiots or they don't care. They're good. They're good.
As long as Negroes continue to restrict themselves to doing what was necessary 100 or 1,000 years ago, they must naturally expect to be left out of the great scheme of things as they concern men of today. The most inviting field for discovery and invention, then, is the Negro himself, but he does not realize it. Frederica Bremer, when reflecting upon her visit to America about 1850, gave this country a new thought in saying to Americans, "The romance of your history is the fate of the Negro." In this very thought lies unusual possibilities for the historian, the economist, the artist, and the philosopher. Why should the Negro writer seek a theme abroad when he has the greatest of all at home? The bondage of the Negro brought captive from America is one of the greatest dramas in history, and the writer who merely sees in that ordeal something to approve or condemn fails to understand the evolution of the human race. Negroes now studying dramatics go into our schools to reproduce Shakespeare, but mentally developed members of this race would see the possibilities of a greater drama in the tragedy of the man of color. Negroes graduating from conservatories of music dislike the singing of our folk songs. For some reason, such misguided persons think that they can improve on the productions of the foreign drama or render the music of other people better than they can themselves. The knowledge of real history would lead one to think that slavery was one of the significant developments which, although evil in themselves, may redound sometimes to the advantage of the oppressed rather than to that of the oppressor. Someone has said that the music of Poland was inspired by incidents of the struggle against the despots invading and partitioning their prostrate land. The Greeks never had an art until the country was overrun by the hostile Orientals. Someone then began to immortalize in song the sons who went forth to fight for their native land. Another carved in marble the thought evoked by the example of the Greek youth who had blocked the mountain pass with his body, or who bared his breast to the javelin to define the liberty of his country. These things we call art. In our own country, the elements of the population, being secure in their position, have never faced such a crisis, and the Europeans, after whose pattern American life is fashioned, have not recently had such experience. White Americans then have produced no art at all, and that of Europe has reached the point of stagnation. Negroes who are imitating whites then are engaged in a most unprofitable performance. Why not interpret themselves anew to the world? If we had a few thinkers, we could expect great achievements on tomorrow. Some Negro with unusual insight would write an epic of bondage and freedom which would take its place with those of Homer and Virgil. Some Negro with aesthetic appreciation would construct from collected fragments of Negro music a grand opera that would move humanity to repentance. Some Negro of philosophic penetration would find a solace for the modern world in the soul of the Negro, and then men would be men because they are men.
But you can't do that now, right? The artists, the entertainers, they can't do that now. They can't go back and talk about history from the perspective of the African, of the native. They must make it palatable for the people that are sponsoring or they're paying for financing whatever art they're trying to propagate. It must go through them. They must filter it and then give it back and say, like, here, you can go ahead and go make this movie. Because despite all the money that they got, that they shove in our face, the entertainers, the celebrities, I ain't never going to get that rap out of my mind. I mean, Jay-Z told my son he don't go through, the tour, he go through Easy Pass. All the way back then, I used to be in my car listening to that. I'm like, who this punk, like, who he think he is, yo? Just because you got bread to go through the Easy Pass, you think that makes you better than anybody else? But this is the poison that they feed us. And they feed in our mind. Material thing, having more money than somebody else, that's what is important. They don't go back and tell us how we got here. How we got to the space where materialism, material objects are more important than human beings. They don't have no art that do that. Because they can't put out that kind of art. Or they're going to get their mic cut. They can't put out no movies like that. When I was younger, I used to think Malcolm X was tough. The movie Malcolm X. And then I got older and I saw they had none of his political philosophies in there. It was a minstrel show. They really didn't talk. They didn't really show how the government came after him, how other black people came after him, how other sellouts, how he was killed by other sellouts. You see Al Sharpton. Go ahead. See, what happened?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you wanted to say? Y'all jerking wreck right now, yo.
I muted them. Give me a second, Chairman. I'm about to press mute all.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. Nah, but if they want to say something, you could say so, man. Just don't be playing around, man. You just straight derail my whole train of thought, man. But for real though, they can't come up with those ideas. Because even if they come up with them, they're not gonna let them. They can't see the light of day. So they don't even waste their time going down that road to even think, to show how we came from greatness to now, to today, where we are all captured and the masses, the overwhelming masses of our people are under oppression right now. Our ideas are not allowed to flourish. We go to their schools from birth till we die. We believe what they tell us is truth. We don't control our destinies. Show when we rule the world. Make an epic movie. You could make a TV show way better than Game of Thrones. Showing where we came from, to how we got here. Because they didn't Europeans didn't just go to Africa. Europeans or Arabs, they didn't just go to Africa and just start getting slaves and just started the enslavement of our people. They didn't work that way. It took them years, hundreds of years. Time after time, they tried to come in to take over. They tried to invade, beat them back, over and over and over and over, until they finally succeeded. Then we took it back again. You could show all of that. You could show how we got to here, how we got on the slave ships, how they came down and just like they do now, they buy off these black people now, they buy off these black politicians. They bought them off back then. They bought them off back then, gave them stupid stuff, this silly stuff, wine, stuff, dumb stuff, to remove human beings, to destroy a whole continent. Go back and show that. Show the fights, show the rebellions, show the traitors. I'm telling you, it will be epic. Everybody will want to watch it. Every single black family, and if black people watching, everybody else is watching it. We'll be tuning in to understand our legacy, our history. But none of these people are going to do that. They're not. So you know what we do? We create our own. That's what we do. That's what this show is here for. That's why we're here, to find people to create our own. Because if you create it, they'll see it. Our people will go search for it. But it must be created first. This is the last I'm stopping. I'll just talk at the end of it.
The Negro in his present plight, however, does not see possibilities until it is too late. He exercises much hindsight, and for that reason he loses ground in the hotly contested battles of life. The Negro, as a rule, waits until a thing happens before he tries to avert it. He is too much like a man whom the author once saw knocked down in a physical combat. Instead of dodging the blow when it was being dealt, he arose from his prostration dodging it. For example, the author has just received a letter from a lady in Pittsburgh complaining that the librarian in one of its schools insists upon reading to the children a great deal of literature containing such words as nigger, blackie, little black Sambo, etc. This lady, therefore, would like to place in that school some books by Negro authors. This is a commendable effort, but it comes a little late. We hope not too late. For centuries, such literature has been circulated among the children of the modern world. They have, therefore, come to regard the Negro as inferior. Now that some of our similarly miseducated Negroes are seeing how they've been deceived, they are awakening to address themselves to a long-neglected work. They should have been thinking about this generations ago, for they have a tremendous task before them today in dispelling this error and counteracting the results of such bias in our literature. There has just come, too, from a friend of humanity in Edinburgh, Scotland, a direful account of the increase in race prejudice in those parts. Sailors who had frequented the stronghold of race prejudice in South Africa undertook recently to prevent Negro men from socializing with Scotch women at a dance. And certain professors of the University of Edinburgh, with the same attitude, show so much of it in their teaching that his friend entreats us to send them informing books on the Negro. We are doing it. Here again, however, the effort to uproot error and popularize the truth comes rather late. The Negro, since freedom, has gone along grinning, whooping, and cutting capers, while the white man has applied himself to the task of defining the status of the Negro and compelling him to accept it as thus settled forever. While the Negro has been idle, propaganda has gone far ahead of history. Unfortunately, too, Negro scholars have assisted in the production of literature which gives this point of view.
Deep. So since slavery, we've been shoe shuffling, hooping, doing all kind of goofy stuff. That's what he just said. Instead of what? Instead of planning for the future, putting institutions in place that will breed and bring about the minds that we need to be able to fight back, to liberate ourselves. We call that, as Panthers, we call that reactionary. You just react. Like he said, bro got hit with a blow. He dropped to the floor. He waited till he got dropped to the floor for him to learn how to move out the way. That's what he's saying. We wait until something happens. We wait till the epidemic is right at our front door to do something. Instead of the whole time we build in a school with scientists that are in there understanding how to survive the pandemic that these people are going to unleash on us. That's what he's saying. Why are we not doing that? All these so-called leaders that speak for us, because they always say they're speaking for the people. Where are the institutions at to prepare the people? To guide the people, to serve the people? Where are the institutions at? You shouldn't be supporting no celebrities, no entertainers, no academics. You shouldn't be buying none of their books. You shouldn't be watching none of their movies. Yo, man, Kendrick Lamar, go to hell. You're not talking about nothing that's applicable to the stuff that we're going through on the streets. Bread and circuses. You want to sit here and talk about Kendrick Lamar? That's all they be having on social media. Kendrick Lamar new album. Useless. 100 years later, 150 years later, we're still doing the same thing because we're listening to the same people. Yo, it's time to stop listening to them. That's why this program is here. Like, we went back and that was chapter 13 of Miseducation of a Negro. We went back and listened to what he said in there. He's the one saying it. Carter G. Woodson saying it. The founder of Black History Month. Not Africa. All I did was just study it. And so now, as the chairman of the Black Panther Party in Newark, New Jersey, my duty is to put programs in place to lay the foundation of what's to come. What's to come after me. The leadership that's going to have to come after me, they're going to have to take whatever I put in place, whatever vision I have here, they have to take it to the next level. That's how this works. Then you're not reactionary. You're not waiting till something happens to do something. But we're about... Go ahead, what you said?
I want you to respond to a question I was asked on Instagram Live, so I'll read it right now. Someone asked, "The destruction of the Black civilization explains what took place. Is that book credible?"
Yes, it is. Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization. Yes, it is. But you'll never see that. All power to the people. Yes, it does. But you'll never see that book in these public schools. You see that book. See, I've read it. But how many people out there do you think read that book? And even Miseducation of a Negro, we all talk about Miseducation of a Negro. I heard about it when I was younger. I didn't read it back then. I didn't understand what he was talking about back then. I read it later on. And then I'm like, wow, my jaw dropped. But yeah, you're right. Chancellor Williams. And in the end of the book, Chancellor Williams give advice on how we can change the destruction of our civilization. And what did he say? He said, build institutions. I read that book too. Because once you're serious, once you care about what's going on, you will study. He said that our issue, like, you bringing me back. Yo, Captain Faces, who put that in there?
Give her a
The
minute to
Instagram
respond.
name is residue
You said who?
103.
You're kind of low. I can't hear y'all.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
He said, the person who commented is residue_103. He said, I got the book on my lap right now. We need to hit the streets with this book.
Yeah, we need to hit the streets. But it's more than one way to hit the streets. You don't have to go door to door. You can come here and talk about it. You can come here. Yo, we living in a new world. You could come here, we could talk about it. Yo, it could be the next book we go through, just like we going through this book. But you're able to reach people all around the world from sitting here having like a book club and you discussing it with them. You don't have to physically go door to door, knock on people's door. No, nobody want nobody knocking on their door. But you could ask those that are interested, that want to hear this stuff. You could tell them, like, we doing this right here, and then we'll pump that out. Yo, if you want to do that, you could do it right here on this platform. You could come here. It could be the next book that we do. Because we're in chapter 13. We're almost done with this one. But that information is vital. It's necessary in our community. But I'm about to move on to the next thing. Now, I'm about to show you in data, in charts, I'm about to show you the income inequality, how systemically, the government, the politicians have worked to keep us down, to hold us down, to make sure we don't climb out of the hell we in. You always hear people tell you things are better now than in the 70s and the 60s. You can't look at me and say we haven't done anything, like things haven't gotten better. They haven't. Things haven't gotten better. Yeah, oppression changes. Yeah, we're not on plantation picking cotton no more. But this is not the 1700s. You're not out there picking cotton. You're working for Amazon. Stupid. You working for Amazon now. You working 3 jobs. You're not on the plantation from sun up to sundown. You at your 3 jobs from sun up to sundown. It's not the same way. It don't look the same, but it's still the same.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head.
This chart is from, I believe, like 12 years ago. Talking about wealth inequality. We're going to start here, then we're going to come back. We're going to come back to modern times.
A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom.
Remember, you don't pull everybody. When you're doing some research work, when you're doing pulling, whatever, trying to find out something, you don't have to get all the millions of people in America to answer. So they say they pulled 5,000 people about wealth inequality in the United States right now, what they think it is. So those 5,000 give them a microcosm, give them an idea into what people think. So they say this is how they think it's distributed out. The bottom 20, the next to the bottom 20, whatever, the middle, the fourth, and the top. So they put it in 5 different boxes, and they're explaining how they think the wealth is distributed.
And middle 3, 20% groups. They asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was distributed.
Now, I need you to remember something. Most of the people in the world are catching hell. So if you're looking at this chart, I hope you can see this little hand I got on the thing. So let's say if you're looking on the chart, from here, the girl right here, to all the way here. This will be the masses of people catching hell, living paycheck to paycheck. I don't care if you're making maybe 5,000 at the bottom and you're making probably like 70, 80,000 around here. All these people are living paycheck to paycheck. This is the majority. These like the only people over here that's eating, that's enjoying. These people right here, they're making enough. They ain't trying to change no system. All right here, they ain't trying to change no system. But everybody from this skirt right here all the way back, you just catching hell.
Divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly.
Remember what Carter G. Woodson said? Like these people be knowing that the system is messed up, but they're content, they're good, they're satisfied. So he's saying most people, when you ask them what they think, this bar right here, this bar up top, this is what they think it looks like. This at the bottom is what they say should be ideal. You see, they still want the rich people to eat. They're still over here. They still want most of the wealth, most of everything. Now, okay, what is wealth? The wealth is when you go to work, when we all go to work, what we produce. All of us in the United States of America, what we produce is the wealth of the country. Now, how is that wealth that we all produce? Because we're the one working. The wealth that we all produce, how is that broken down and how is that shared with everybody? The top 20%, like this is our ideal. The top 20% should keep all of this right here. The people all down here at the bottom, they should just keep this blue box right here. But this is, hold on, wait. Yeah, this is ideal. This is what they think it is right here. And then keep this right here.
But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what
Show the reality
exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual distribution.
Look at the actual. Look at this blue line right here. This blue line is probably like people that's making about like around 30, 35, around there. That's what this blue line is. If you're making less than that, you fall off the whole scale. You out of here. I mean, but like this is what it actually is. They have all the wealth. These are the people that don't work. These are like your Jeff Bezos, your CEOs, all the your rappers, entertainers. Like some of them up here, but big up here. These like the real money people, the billionaires, the millionaires, and we like this ain't got nothing to do with us. They're the one keeping everything. So you go around here, you playing basketball for a living. You at the top. You a professional athlete. You throw a ball into a hoop. Yeah, you eating. Everybody else that's working down at the service job, all the ones down here doing the real work down here, your sanitation workers not even on here. If you're doing sanitation work, you're not even on here. Even though you're the one that's doing real work that we can see. Yo, when I go out my house, the people that I see really doing work is sanitation workers. The garbage is always moved. Yo, we go to the police, they're killing people. The police are a criminal gang. You go to the teachers, they're miseducating people. You go to the doctors, they work in industries where it's for pay. If you ain't got no money, they're going to just, whatever. You may not even get nothing. Don't be real sick. They're not doing nothing for you. And then look at all the wealthy people. These are the people that vote over here. The small number of people that want to maintain the society the way it is. Those are the people that vote. Because the people that's over here, the people that's off this chart, they know the society is screwed up. He already told you. People already know the society is screwed up. They have no interest in maintaining the society. The only people that have an interest in maintaining the society is a small group of people that's eating, bro. And the people, they got jobs at City Hall, at the council. They got jobs in the system. They're working for non-profits. These are the people that go out and do all this voting stuff. But the masses of the people don't even participate in the system.
Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart. But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have.
Jesus.
Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are: teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers.
You see right here? This is 102 right here. So when they're always talking about middle class, hey, if you're making 43,000, you're not making middle class. You're not middle class. If you're making, even if you're making 100,000, you're really not middle class. But right here, remember they broke it down. They broke the graph down. So let's say from here, from 113 here, all the way down is the masses of the people. And from here, all the way over here, these are the people that are eating. These are the people right here. This group of people right here. These are, look how small it is. From this one right here to, let's say, right here. And then look at the masses over here. This is all of us over here. This is all of us. All of us here. It's more of us than dumb. But they're ruling the society right now. These people are controlling the society. They're controlling everything that what we hear in school, what they teach in school, what the police do, how much tax, everything. These people, these are the ones that are maintaining the electoral process right here. And everybody down here is catching hell under this system.
Some investment bankers, a CEO.
CEO, look, right here. Look how much they're making over here. Look at the CEOs. Look where they at. Investment banker, he said they were right here. These are investment bankers. You see how much they're making? You ain't making none of that. You all the way back here somewhere. You all the way back here. But you're living in a society that's controlled by dumb. They control the politicians. They control everything. They control your schools. They control what your child learns. They control everything.
Maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right. Just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly...
Right over here. This is where the wealthy people at over here. The people that are eating good. The rest of us are all here. We fall down. Some people down here, you making 12, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100,000 over here. You make start around here, you're making 100,000. But by and large, when they say the masses, they say the mass of the people catching hell that are living paycheck to paycheck, this is what they mean. And just this small group of people over here are the ones that are eating, the ones that be talking about the NASDAQ, talking about their 401k plan, talking about all this goofy stuff that has nothing to do with nothing with us down here. That's them over here. They talking about the economy is doing great. That's them over here.
$54 trillion in 2009.
1 second,
This
Chairman.
symbolic
Go ahead.
pile of cash.
People just know when they say the economy is doing great, that means we are doing bad. The economy equals Wall Street. Wall Street is owned by the imperialists and capitalists. So when you hear those buzzwords, the economy is doing great, that means the imperialists and capitalists are doing great, and the rest of us are doing bad.
Word.
And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans.
Pay attention to this, y'all.
Here's socialism. All the wealth of the country distributed.
See, when people say socialism, they don't understand what socialism is. Yo, this is socialism. When you say Marxism, you say socialism. Yo, the wealth should be distributed equally. I don't care who you are in society. Everybody should have some of this wealth. Now, this person that's doing this right here, they're about to say something goofy. He's about to say, if you have a society like this, people will not be motivated to work. What are you talking about? People are working 3 jobs. Like, they're motivated to work now. Why wouldn't you be motivated to work if you could travel, if you could have time off, if you could have time with your family? Because this is what this means. If it's distributed like this, you have time to be home and teach your child how to read, how to study. You don't have to worry about the school teaching them. There's one parent at home. Y'all can go travel around the world, have vacations, have aspirations, think about going into space. You can do all of that. You're not starving. You eat what you want. You could choose if you want to eat healthy or not. Right now, people really can't make a choice because you can't afford to eat healthy. People go, look at this. This is socialism. Everybody get the same. Everybody, we all split the wealth. That's what socialism means.
It equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work.
See what I'm talking about? Because it's limitations to what they could say. He said, we all know that's not going to work. How we all know? How you going to tell us we all know? No, we don't know. I don't know that. It ain't never been like this. Shut up. Talking about we all know that ain't going to work. Because there's a limit to what he can say. There's a limit what you can say in the society. There's no free speech. So there's a limit to what he can tell. So he got to tell people, like capitalism, like the way that the system is, that makes people want to go work. Man, get out of my face. People don't want to go get up. Man, you know what, yo?
Chairman Afrika.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you with respect to socialism. Isn't under socialism they try to say that everything is owned by the state, like you can't really own property, and that's how they give the negativism towards it, like, okay, I can't have my property, it's all owned by the state, supposedly?
But who is giving negative to it? Who is saying that, like, who is saying socialism is bad? Like, you got to pay attention to the person that you hear that coming out of their mouth. It's either it's somebody that's benefiting from the current system of exploiting people, or somebody that's too stupid to even spell socialism. Because socialism is saying whatever wealth is brought in. So, like, we all go to work. Because under socialism, you still got to work. We still got to produce. We still got to be able to eat, take care of ourselves. So under socialism, we go to work. Everybody, even the garbage man. The garbage man that goes to work and clean up and pick up the garbage in our community, they make the same amount of money as the CEO that owns the Prudential Bank downtown. That's all it's saying. And it's saying once you go into that, you could do whatever. You could buy your own house. You could buy you a mansion with whatever resources that you have. If that's what you want to go get that. Ain't nobody taking it. But you say what?
Hey, that's the question I have, because I heard somebody have an argument about socialism versus capitalism, and it should be maybe a combination of both. It should be kind of like socialist, capitalist type of society. But they said that, I think it was my Ethiopian friend or something, she's from Ethiopia, she said, oh, under socialism you couldn't really own. They come back and they take everything that you own. So I really didn't get into that, but I just want to question. I'm going to do some more research on it, because some people think that socialist kind of capitalist system, a combination of both would probably work more so.
Nah, I'm saying, yeah, you're right. You're way more right than she is. No, but who is they that's going to come in and take it? Who, the government? The same people that gentrifying people's communities? Because they act like when you say the government is a taboo person. Is this like we don't have a government here? The gentrification that's going on in our community is sanctioned by the government, by City Hall. They allow the landlords to double people rents, so they to take away people's homes. So under socialism, who is going to come take the homes? You saying the politicians are going to, under socialism, are going to come? Not you. I'm saying her. The politicians under socialism are going to come into the communities and take people's homes and give them to who? That argument makes no sense. But if you don't understand socialism, communism, if you don't understand what these terms really mean, like those people, they can confuse you. Because then they'll go back into history. They'll be like, look at Russia. But without talking about all the other thing, all the history, everything that's surrounded with Russia, like they just say, look at Russia, as if that's just not another government. Because when they say look at Russia, I could be like, look at America. Look at American capitalism. There's no free markets. Just like it's people over there, just like it was human beings in Russia that handled that government or that socialism or that communism, and they handled it for the wealthy. They handled it for the ones higher up on the class ladder. Just like it was human beings there, it's human beings here that handle capitalism. The so-called free markets, that's not free. Because if you don't have no money, you can't participate in the free market. So if you ain't got no money, how is it free? You see, but they don't make those arguments. They don't say that. They just say silly stuff like under socialism, the government is coming to take your stuff away. You are the government. Under socialism, you are the government. Under capitalism, the wealthy is the government. I would rather be under a socialist government where I am the government, where what I say holds weight, where I have a say in how the society is ran. That's the kind of government I want to be in. You don't get that under capitalism. Capitalism, the rich dictate to everybody else how we should live. Period.
To achieve that.
1 second, Chairman. I have my hand.
Go ahead.
Going back to the Ethiopian friend that mischaracterized socialism, I think she's pointing to the fact, like, once the government is going into socialism, like, they're going to divide and distribute the wealth equally. So, yeah, we're going to take the billionaire mansion and house the people that don't have homes. Yes, that's going to happen.
No. I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, like it's all these apartment buildings in Newark that's empty. It's all this spaces around that's empty, and you got people sleeping outside, homeless people sleeping outside. Yeah, under socialism, the community will decide, like, we're taking this building over, we're going to house all the homeless people out here. So you mad, leave. That's what Castro told them in Cuba. If you mad, leave, go to America. But all this stuff here is going to the people. The only people that will be upset with that is those that are at the top, billionaires. Because why would you be mad if you're homeless and you sleep? I'm sure I got the picture in my phone. I'm sure I got a video in my phone because I've drove around the city. I drive around the city. I see people sleeping on the steps of boarded up homes. What kind of society does that? So we had socialism, and they came down and every resident in North was asked, should we put homeless people in these boarded homes? I guarantee you over 80% of the people will say yes. And that would be the law. But we don't live in a democracy. We don't live in a socialistic world. We're living under capitalism, under imperialism. So the rich could keep a building, a house, empty for years. Homeless people sleep in front, and nothing is done, and that's okay. And that's the world they're telling us that we want to live in.
Forward.
But what?
So,
Go ahead.
The way they try to is that they give us this pipe dream, like you will be rich one day because you're in America and anything can happen in America. You see me? Look at me. All you got to do is do A, B, C, and D, and this is the way you'll get there. And if you don't get there, then you know what? You're not working hard enough.
It's your fault. But you know what? We got charged for that too. We're going to get to that in a second, Basil. We're going to get to that in a second.
Here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this.
Now remember, that was socialism where everything is even. This is the ideal that people think that we should be at.
Bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans, and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America.
That's the actual. This is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poor are down here. I guess this is like making like 10, 12, 13,000 a year, and then it goes up. It goes, but like from here, this is about like this. I believe this is like 100. This is like you're making like 100, 200,000 is going up, but all here from here, the masses of the people. This is it right here. So like your teachers will be somewhere like around, I would say like around here. Academics, all those people, doctors, all of them, they're like around here. These are the people that are content with society the way it is now. This done right here. These, everybody, catching hell. You see how much of us it is? This all here, catching hell out here. Somebody say something?
No, I just said,
Yeah, this all of us catching hell. So like while we down here catching hell, we trying to find ways to survive from here all the way up. Cause this is a small group of people right here. This is not a lot of people. All these people right here, these are the ones that's telling us going to vote for Democrats, Republicans, supporting these politicians. This is how we change our condition. These are the people that control all of that narrative, telling us from when we were little. You have to go to school, you participate, you learn civics, all that stuff. You can change the conditions because they're good. They're good. Now, when you start to get down here, we starving. It gets slower and slower and lower. Yo, these people down here don't give a damn about voting. To hell with your vote. I'm not going down because I understand no matter what I do, nothing changes. I mean, and these people down here, it doesn't benefit them like the people that work down in City Hall. You're not even making that much money. Like, why are you even going to go vote anyway? I mean, but this is the real how it really looks. And they can't even, these people over here at the top, yo, they make so much money, they can't even put it up there for them to show you.
Poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change.
You hear that? That's the poorest American. What did I just do?
There's a chart I saw worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5%.
No, I want to go back to where you said register.
Worse off. Only the top 10%. In fact, even register. They're down to pocket. Right. Americans don't even.
Hey, look. Down here, don't even register. This is the real chart right here. The poor people, you know, they don't come to the poor communities to come and do nothing, to ask them to try to get their vote. They don't even show up. Yo, this is where, if you was during the election time, this is from this line forward. That is where Kamala tried to get her votes in the suburbs with the rich people, the rich white people, the rich black people in the suburbs. This is where they focus all their attention on. They say we get some of these people, we're going to be able to win the election. They forgot all of these people. And since they forgot all of these people, since they had nobody to talk to, nobody to pay attention to them, they thinking like, yeah, I might as well vote for Trump because they hate the Democrats so much because the Democrats been the one in power. Hey, Andy, you got your hand up?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just think that you're doing a tremendous job. And
no problem.
Excellent job. I mean, this is not going on. This discussion is not going on in 95% of the country. In the troubled situation that we face, that millions of people face, they don't have this knowledge, and y'all are providing it, and you're doing really an excellent job of doing this. I wanted to say one thing, that when first people started to actually study scientifically how societies developed, what was the basis for a society, that they began to look and see that there was different time frames, different changes, that earliest societies were like these hunter-gatherer societies, and they were communal or communist in that everybody shared what they got. You know, if somebody killed an antelope or something, the whole tribe would eat. It was communal or communist, that they distributed things equally. But what happened was, and what they discovered, Marx and others who studied society's growth, is that more and more it shifted towards the ownership of private property, so that the king was getting the most or whatever. And that shift towards private property came about because there was a certain amount of wealth that was above and beyond the survival needs of the tribe or the people. And now we look at what we really want to understand is private property for who actually owns what they call the means of production. And that's where you see these huge discrepancies in wealth. So people who have nothing, they don't have any control, especially over the means of production, which means all the machinery, all that stuff. So Marx focused on, that's what we have to have. The poor people of the world, the proletariat who work for these big owners, has to grow in power so that they can take the means of production. Nobody wants to take your personal property. Nobody wants to take your little house or your car or any of your stuff, little stuff that belongs to you. What the socialist revolutionary is after is taking control of the means of production. And today we have means of production that could feed the world. I mean, Jeff Bezos alone could eliminate poverty in the world and still be a billionaire. So we have an unequal system that's getting more unequal, more unstable, and more warlike everywhere. We're getting nothing, and we have to understand the need to take the means of production from them. And that's a process of learning how unequal it is, rather than going along with this ideal dream that somehow everybody's getting an even shake, and if I just work a little harder, I'll get. No. We're in a dire situation. You know, people compare it to the Titanic or whatever, but we're not going to get out from under this until we develop the understanding, and Captain Afrikan Patient are doing the job to get people to understand just how screwed we are, and just how important it is to understand that if we're going to make any step forward. And I'll shut up, but I really have been enjoying these sessions.
All power to the people. No, you're 100% spot on. I mean, but it's like, but if you study, if you pay attention, we're always going to come to the same spot in the road, because we're learning the same thing. We're looking at the data, and the data is going to give us the same answers. But you're spot on. You're spot on.
Register. They're down to pocket change, and the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10%.
Hey, but hold up. You see, when they say middle class, you see, they're talking about 80, 70, like those people. That is not the middle class. I got to disagree with them. That is not the middle class. If you're making like $80,000, $90,000, you could barely survive out here. Yo, I got friends that are making 80, 90,000 that I grew up with, knew my whole life. Yo, he still live in Irvington. What are you talking about? He is not middle class. Yo, if you living in Irvington, you living in the hood, you're not middle class. Middle class, you got to be out of here. You got to be making enough to have money in the bank. My boy, bro, been living paycheck to paycheck since we were 18, 19. Child support, all this, bro. He was homeless at one point, making about $70,000, $80,000 a year. He was homeless. He was sleeping in his car. I mean, I've seen it with my own two eyes. So when these people telling you, like, you making like 70, 80, like, you middle class, no, you're not. If you're not making over 100 or something, you're not middle class. Because, like, right here, you said they're just barely making it. They're just like poor people. So they,
Chairman, you know what is middle class?
Uh-huh.
This goddamn rent we're paying. We're paying anywhere from like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year in rent.
Yeah.
That's right there, middle class, the rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale.
Wow.
And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show.
That they
Here's
can
his
show.
stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much.
And that's what Andy talking about. If that 1% with all their billions, if they split that money all the way down to everybody else that's catching hell, yo, everybody will climb out of poverty. But they're not splitting that money. That's not how imperialism and capitalism work. They use the politicians to write policies and write laws to continue to take our money, our power, our lives, our future, and give it to the wealthy. And give it to that 1%. Yo, they said they couldn't even fit. They can't fit in 2 charts. How much money, how much wealth they have.
Much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own.
Wow.
Because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth.
Think about that.
The bottom 80.
Now remember, this I told you, this is like 12 years ago. This is like 12 years ago. It didn't get better. I'm going to just let you know that. But, yo, what he just said, he got so much wealth, what? In his pocket, what? I forgot.
He had a separate chart for him.
Oh, you got to do a separate chart.
40% of all the nation's.
Oh, yeah. 40. Oh, my God. Why I keep doing this, yo? I got to stop doing this. Yo, he said 40%.
There's a chart.
Yo, all the wealth in America. Wait, right here. All the wealth in America, yo. That 1% have 40% of all the wealth. So now the rest 99% got to share 60. Yo, who you think you are? I don't know how y'all built.
How did this happen? How something like this has happened? This is the question I have. This is.
I just told you how it happened.
But think about this, Chairman. Here we look at Bezos. We look at the one who does the Meta, the Facebook, all these billionaires. They can say to themselves, why should I share my money with you? I did this. I created this. I allowed this to happen. See, this is the narrative that they play. Like, okay, why should I give all this? You didn't make it happen. Of course, we did make it happen in terms of we working for the corporations and stuff like that. But I'm the big guy behind it. I'm the mastermind. So why should I share with you, peasants, all of what I've done? I've given you a job. I made you. I provided income for you. So
because you use your money to fix a debt. You use your money to buy politicians that are supposed to use my tax dollars to fix my schools, to fix my road, to make sure I don't have to work 3 jobs to survive. But you use your money to buy them, for them to write policies for you, so nobody else could have a Facebook. You have a monopoly on Facebook.
Exactly. Yes.
You use the government. You use these This is political education. I mean, we need to understand, like, these people didn't just wake up one day and they have all this power. Yo, from the 70s, since 1970, the Bradley Memo, when they put it in paperwork that this
Powell Memo.
The Powell Memo, I'm sorry, the Powell Memo. Since the Powell Memo, they put it in document, in writing, strategically, how they were going to dismantle the system and take power. Because around the 70s, yo, they had to pay taxes like at 90% clip, because they were just coming out of World War II. And they had to pay, all the rich people had to pay taxes to be able to fund the war and all of that. So I think it was Roosevelt. made them all pay all these high taxes. But after the 70s, all that stuff started coming down. They worked to cut everything down where they barely pay taxes now. We pay more taxes than them. This is how you get this. Through those politicians that they tell you to go vote for. No politician in the United States of America is for the people. No politician. Green Party, Yellow Party, Republican, Democrat, none of them care about the people. This is political education here. Because if they did, you wouldn't have this chart. This is Exhibit A. You wouldn't have this chart. But I got a couple more, so I got to hurry up.
Wait 1 second, Terry. I also want to add.
You say what?
I also want to add that those businesses that Bezos and them own, a large portion of our tax dollars, they get subsidized by the government. That means tax dollars that we pay. So that money is ours. To build Tesla, he got government funding. To for Amazon to take over delivery and stuff because they're competing against the United States Postal Service, they got government funding. So all that money is not theirs.
All power to the people. No, you're right. You're right.
7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years.
But what is he talking about right here? What's 7%?
It's gotten worse in the last 7% between them. 100 only has 7% between them. And this has...
Right here. He's saying from here to here, we only have 7% of the wealth among us. From here to here. That's below from 100,000, my man Anwan, my man Poet, all my mans and them that be out here working, that got all these jobs, that's making this amount of money. You're making 70, 80, 90, 100,000. From here to here, we have 7% of the wealth. The rest of the wealth is over here. These are your celebrities, your entertainers, your professors, your doctors, your lawyers, you're all the professional managerial Negroes, college professors, all of them. Eric Dyson, Glord, Eddie Glord, all of them, they're all here. These are the people that they're talking about. But the rest of us, we only have 7% of the wealth to deal with.
Only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a...
I got to keep stopping it. He said it only got worse the last 30 years. So when the people are telling you things got better, this chart is telling you things got worse. Ain't no argument. Ain't no need to see it. I spoke to Rand Daniels. So if you don't know Rand Daniels, he's a bootlicking Uncle Tom, been around forever. Ron Daniels was trying to tell me all this goofy stuff like I can't take you seriously if you're telling me that the society has not gotten better, things have not gotten better. I can't talk to you. He talking about Obama did the tax credit, when Biden them came in, they did the children tax, all the stuff that they cut. And they ain't talking about all the credit and all the cuts that they gave to the 1%. He's just talking about the fake stuff that they came out and did. Rand Daniels. I mean, straight fraud, Uncle Tom. Yo, they got him on WBAI. That station is garbage now. It is what it is. I call on there. I mean, when my stomach starts turning, I hear them saying stuff that I can't handle. I call on there. But that station is garbage now. Like, there's no reason why Ron Daniels should be on that station. But he's on that station, like, and he's a Democratic operative. Because that's what all these black misleadership class people are. Democratic operatives.
Quarter.
I ain't even going to talk about Charles Barron.
In 1976, they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by.
I'm not
sure
investing.
Many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money. But do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
Hey, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to you, to put this out to people that are already waking up. Because you can't force somebody to wake up. You can't make them wake up. You can't shove this information in people's minds like, hey, nah. They got to be willing to come to this information. They got to be searching this information. And if you're not, like, we don't have time to play with you because we got work to do. There's another one.
For the last few years, I've had this...
Now, this is a more recent chart. This is recent right here. This chart is recent.
...sense that everything I learned as a kid about how America's government works is completely wrong. But I had no idea how bad things actually were until I saw this one graph. Researchers at Princeton University looked at more than 20 years worth of data to answer a pretty simple question. Does the government represent the people?
They looked at 20 years of data. They did this, I think in 2013 or 14, the Princeton people did it, whatever. Martin Gales and somebody else. They did this, they went back 20 years to see does the government work for the people. Because everybody's always saying, go vote, go vote, go vote, go to the local politics, go this, go that. That's all they always say because they're paid to say that. And when they come on there, they tell you this stuff. This study shows, you know what, I'm about to cut it. Let me let them say it themselves.
Now, this is what they found. This axis here represents public support for any given idea. On the left, at 0%, are ideas that not a single American wants. On the right, at 100%, are ideas that everyone supports. This axis represents the likelihood of Congress passing a law that reflects any of these ideas, from a 0 to a 100% chance. On this graph, an ideal republic would look like this. If 50% of the public supports an idea, there's a 50% chance of it becoming law. If 80% of us support something, there's an 80% chance. You get the idea. Now, most Americans would probably agree that, with a few exceptions, we should be as close to this ideal as possible. Unfortunately, the way America actually works doesn't even come close. Take an idea that nobody supports, literally nobody, and it has about a 30% chance of becoming federal law. Now, take an incredibly popular idea, the most popular idea this country has ever seen, and there's also about a 30% chance of it becoming law.
Good.
This means that the number of American voters for or against any idea has no impact on the likelihood that Congress will make it law. Put another way, and I'm just going to quote the Princeton study directly here, the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy.
Hey, you heard what he just said? That's not what Africa said. That's what he's telling you. After the study, this is what they found out. Yo, what we want as average American has basically no chance, no snowball chance in hell of being passed. Now, once again, this ain't what Africa telling you. This ain't what the Black Panther Party telling you. This is what these people, where you at? Represent.us, whatever, and the Princeton study. That's what they telling you. That's not me.
Of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. So if you've ever felt like your opinion doesn't matter and that the government doesn't really care what you think, well, you're right. But there's a catch. This flat line only accounts for the bottom 90% of income earners in America. Economic elites, business interests, people who can afford lobbyists, they get their own line.
Can you go live again?
Look at how much closer their line is to the ideal. When they want something, the government is much more likely to do it. And when they don't, they have the power to completely block it from happening, no matter how much the rest of the country...
You hear that? They're telling you. I'm not the one telling you this. Yo, whatever we want, you can forget about it. But the wealthy, those charts that we just saw, all those rich people, they buy the politicians to pass whatever they want to pass. While we down here keep talking about we're going to go vote for these people to change the conditions out here.
Country supports it. They get what they want, and guess who ends up paying for it?
No, take it back.
We pay for it with the most expensive healthcare in the world. We pay for it with a tax code that's a complete mess. We pay for it with internet that's slower and more expensive, with wasteful spending, a floundering education system, a catastrophic drug war, and 1 in 5 American children born into poverty. Almost every major issue we face as a nation can be traced back to this graph. How does this happen? Well, just follow the money. Right now, it's perfectly legal to buy political influence in America.
How you got democracy if the politicians are bought off? Like this is right here in our face. They're telling the politicians are bought off. He's about to show you how they buy them off.
Let's say a big bank wants a law that would force taxpayers to bail them out again if they repeat the exact same reckless behavior that crashed the global economy in 2008. Not exactly the most popular idea with the public and Congress.
Obama bailed them out, remember? Obama came into presidency in 2008. After they took everybody homes, they destroyed all the people's lives, sent people in the street, made people homeless. He's telling you the government is going to do it again. It's going to bail them out, and that's what Obama did.
Congress knows that. That should be the end of it. But that's where the money comes in. It's perfectly legal for our bank to hire a team of lobbyists whose entire job is to make sure that the government gives the bank what it wants. Then those lobbyists can track down members of Congress who regulate banks and help raise a...
Yeah, those lobbyists are our children. So just so you make sure you understand that. When we was talking earlier about having those institutions, building those institutions and stuff, I mean to educate our children, those lobbyists that come in and get these people to do all this stuff and get these politicians to do it, the politicians are our children. But if you have no institutions to put them in, if you're not teaching them, you're not educating them, who do you think is controlling how they think? The schools that they go to, the public schools that's maintained by the imperialists, by that 1%. That 1% you saw on that chart, they control all of that.
Catastrophic drug war, and 1 in 5 American children born into poverty. Almost every major issue we face as a nation can be traced back to this graph. How does this happen? Well, just follow the money. Right now, it's perfectly legal to buy political influence in America. Here's how it works. Let's say a big bank wants a law that would force taxpayers to bail them out again if they repeat the exact same reckless behavior that crashed the global economy in 2008. Not exactly the most popular idea with the public, and Congress knows that. That should be the end of it. But that's where the money comes in. It's perfectly legal for our bank to hire a team of lobbyists whose entire job is to make sure that the government gives the bank what it wants. Then those lobbyists can track down members of Congress who regulate banks and help raise a ton of money for their re-election campaigns. It's perfectly legal for those lobbyists to offer those same politicians million-dollar jobs at their lobbying firm.
But why is it legal? Because the politicians write the laws to make it legal. These politicians, these gritty politicians right here, write the laws to make getting the money from the lobbyists, from the corporations legal. So now they could take in whatever money while they keep bumping their gums and telling you this is a democracy. All you got to do is go vote, go in there and vote. Vote for what? You a complete fool if you go in there to go vote. You a fool.
And those lobbyists can literally write the language of this new bailout law themselves and hand it off to the politician they just buttered up with campaign money and lucrative job offers. And it's perfectly legal for those politicians to take the lobbyist-written language and sneak it through Congress at the last second. So now you've got a law that greatly benefits the banks, and the whole process can start over. This is how a bill becomes a law. A special interest hires some lobbyists. Those lobbyists collect campaign contributions, offer jobs, and then write the laws that Congress then passes to help those same special interests. This happens every day on every single issue with politicians of both parties.
You heard that? Politicians of both parties. We ain't got to go on too much longer with this. They already told you what you need to know. This is
According to NBC News exit polling, the economy was one of the top issues on the minds of voters as they cast their ballots on Tuesday.
Now this is MSNBC. Like 100 years from now, when all y'all see is just this video of us talking, trying to get people to understand what y'all see later, 100 years later, what y'all see now, and y'all thinking in your mind, like, how are these people so crazy? Like, how did they go through this? Why didn't they do anything? Yo, people like Mika, Joe, Morning Joe, this are MSNBC. It's propaganda. It's a media propaganda outlet that lies to the people 24/7. Yo, they were on that platform telling people for years that the economy was great, that their lives is great. We just saw the charts. We just saw the charts for the last 50 years. They were telling people that the economy is great, that everybody's doing great. People just feeling. You just feel like things are not good. You just feel like you're working 30 hours a day. You just feel.
Tuesday. Joining us now with charts is former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Ratner. And Steve, you are looking at the metrics.
And you see, I'm using their own people. I'm not, like, this is after the election. This is, so like, the election is over now. Yo, mad people done left MSNBC. People not watching them no more. So now they got to try to find a way to try to reach people. Because people, like, are seeing that they're hustlers. They're scammers. They've been lying. So now, this is right after the election. They brought this Gumby, they brought him on for him to come explain to us what we already know been going on. But they ain't been talking about all these years. They've been talking about Bidenomics. They've been telling us how Biden got the economy so good, unemployment is so low, it's at like 2-3%, the lowest it's ever been. Oh my God. When we outside see people sleeping in abandoned houses. We see people begging for money everywhere, every corner you go to. These people, these sociopaths, have been on TV lying to the American people all these years. So now Trump win. Now listen to what they're going to tell you. Listen to what this man, but listen to them.
That fueled Trump's win. Let's start with the issue of income. What did the numbers tell you?
Yeah, of course, Mika, this is at the heart of the matter for almost every American. What is my purchasing power? How much can I buy? What's happening to my standard of living? And so let me show you what actually did happen over the last, really, decade or so. But if you go back to 2014, and these are all inflation-adjusted incomes. This is what.
So go back to 2014. We just came out of the housing crisis. Obama was still in office. People were still catching hell. You just came out of the housing crisis. You're still suffering. Nothing ain't getting better yet. But look at 2014.
To have after inflation. Incomes rose fairly steadily at about a rate of 1.3% all the way.
Income, like, you listen to his mouth. Income rose, because this is how they play the little word games. Income rose steadily since 2014. Now listen to him tell you how prices for everything went up too. So if prices for everything went up too, your income really didn't rise. They're playing games with you. But listen to him.
Through the Trump administration. Now, 1.3% may not sound like a big number, but that's after inflation. That's more money that you have to spend. Ignore this. This was a COVID distortion. During the Biden administration, you can see that they actually went down for a while. That was that big burst of inflation that we had. And then lately they've been coming back. And when all is said and done, they were basically flat for this period. And this bothers Americans. And they feel that it was even worse because they don't really see these numbers, this chart exactly, but they feel this. And they don't quite feel this, and so.
You see those numbers down here for Biden, right here for Biden? You look over here. He said under Trump it was rising, but people still don't feel it. They're talking about Biden. You see how it dropped? You see how it dropped off the line? Now they're talking about it's coming up, but it didn't even come up to the line. So you go all the way down to the bottom of the line in 2014. Yo, the bottom of the line in 2014 was after people lost their homes and everything, and they dropped. And they dropped. And then you go back, you go up here, it's dropping again. And it's still not going back up to the line.
So they basically say inflation is what's hurting them. And in fact, incomes did not do as well in the Biden administration as in the Trump administration. We just have to put that out there.
So Steve, let's continue.
Stop stuttering. Steve, but you heard him? It wasn't your Biden, what's called it, Trump administration was better. It wasn't that much better. It ain't really better because people are still catching hell. But even so, even his horrible economy was better than Biden. Why people don't trust Democrats no more?
Through the charts. So talk about the disconnect between how well America's economy is doing. We hear it all the time. America is the envy of the world. Every world leader says they would love to change trade places with the United States. The U.S. dollar at an all-time are moving towards an all-time high. The stock market at an all-time high. S&P at an all-time high. Talk about the overall economy, and then this segment of the economy that you say for working class Americans that you think drove the election in Donald Trump's direction.
Sure, Joe. So yes, as we've talked about on the show, I think as recently as last week, the American economy overall is doing fantastically well. The envy of the world, everything we've been talking about.
You hear what he's saying? The economy, the American economy is doing fantastically well. Remember the chart we just looked at? Not for us. So who are they talking to? They're not talking to us. It's doing well for those people that they got so much money they can't even put it on the chart. They got to do 2 more charts for them. That's who they work for. That's who this platform, MSNBC, is for those people. That's who they serve. They don't serve you. So you sit up at home and you put MSNBC, CNN, Fox on when you come home from work, and you lay there, you watching thinking you get the news. You a fool. You a fool. They're socially conditioning you, like Novocaine, putting you to sleep.
Growth, low unemployment, and inflation coming down. But let's talk about how it affects the average American. One of the big things that I believe is lurking behind the fact that you have this huge right track, wrong track, upside down poll numbers that we've all seen so much of is the American dream and the question of whether the American dream is still there. So let's just look at this one chart. If you go back to 1940, 90% of young Americans would, by the age of 30 rather, make more money than their parents did.
90%. 90%. Not 2, 20, 30, 40, 50. If you go back, 90% will make more than their parents by the time they're 35. This is real numbers here. If you go back, that's what he was saying. By the time they're 35.
It has come steadily down. Some of that is somewhat natural as we became more prosperous. But it just continues to go down and down and down and down, and now you're down here at 50%. So only 50% of American parents should believe.
From 90. They went down, they came from 90 all the way down to 50%.
Down and down and down, and now you're down here at 50%.
They came down from 90, so 90%. You will make more money by 35 than your parents. They came all the way down to 50. You don't think that has a problem, a racial problem? You don't think that builds issue in the society? You don't think that makes, like, let's say if you was white, and you're decades after decades, generation after generations, your family is here, and you start watching all of that. You're watching it go down. Your kids can't afford nothing. Y'all can't afford to move up. And then you get politicians that come on there and saying it's because of immigrants, it's because of black people, that's giving them this explanation. How you think they're going to think? How you think they're going to feel? Because they're feeling it. They're feeling that. But there's nobody there to explain to them or to show them what's really going on, to organize them, to let them know, like, these systems, Trump, Biden, Bush, Clintons, all of this, Reagan, these people are not here to serve you. They're here to serve the 1%. That's what they're here to serve.
So only 50% of American parents should believe or will find that their son or daughter is making as much or more as they're making at the age of 30. That's not the American dream. The American dream is obviously each generation is supposed to do better than the one before.
All right, and then your final chart, Steve, is about industrial wages falling behind. Tell us about it.
Well, actually, Mika, before we do that, can I do my middle chart, which we didn't
do your middle chart. Which one?
Look at her feet like a mannequin.
Of what happens.
Okay.
So, and all the income inequality that we've had.
And one more thing, all these people that you see on here, these people are children of millionaires, children of billionaires. None of these people come from our background. These people that you go home, you sit down and you listen to for them to give you the news, none of these people come from they don't even share the same reality. They know nothing about the hell you catching. They don't know about gentrification. They don't understand what's going on out here. They're actors on this platform to, like, socially construct your mind. That's their only purpose here.
Country over the last 20 years has led to some very different outcomes. If you're a white child born in the bottom 25th percentile, so now we're back to the famous white working class. If you were born in 1978 versus being born in 1992, on an inflation-adjusted basis, a child born in 1992 had 6% less income after inflation, all that, at the age of 30, than at the age of 27, rather, than a child born back here in 1978. So children are in this cohort of a white working class are making less and less and less each birth year that they have. In contrast, with the people at the top, They've actually been making a bit more for each child born. So you have a situation where children of white working class parents are making less each child year after year as they're born. They're completely the opposite at the top. So let's also compare millennials to baby boomers. I'm a baby boomer, and see what their different situation is. So if you talk about home ownership, baby boomers, 62% of baby boomers owned a home. 49% of millennials owned a home at the same age of 35. So millennials worse off. If you look at negative net worth, i.e. being bankrupt, 14% of millennials are bankrupt by the age of 35. Only 9% of boomers were. If you look at wealth, millennials have on average 30% less wealth than baby boomers had at the same point in their life. But the top 10% of millennials actually had more wealth than the baby boomers. So you have huge wealth inequality among millennials. So these are all reasons why people feel that the American dream isn't what it was supposed to be.
All right.
Notice how he say this is why people feel, or not this is why people are catching hell out here. You notice that chart he talk about? He ain't talk about us on that chart. He went to poor white people and he kept on stepping. He ain't talk about the people that are not even on that chart. I mean, but these are the people that you entrust to give you the media, to give you the news. All they do is separate us. They separate women from men, black men from black women, Spanish people from black people, Spanish women from white. Everybody, all they do is try to separate us so they could maintain this system going. It's a new day, man. People ain't falling for that no more. People ain't falling for that.
Building your online business?
This video right here, you see how they were just talking about income? That's after Trump won. But for the last couple of years,
he's the only candidate who can rescue our economy.
Yeah. He's talking about the economy. You're talking about
with some final economic arguments over.
So this is what they've been saying before for years. This is how they've been sounding about the economy.
The weekend, super different. Joining us now,
that's one way to put it. Super different. One person talking about shooting people in the press, performing obscene acts. That would get them fired from, well, any.
Co-anchor of CNBC's Squawk Box and a New York Times columnist, Andrew Sorkin is here, and NBC News senior business correspondent.
That's the senior business correspondent, another rich person. Watch how she explains
Christine Romans over at the big board. Christine, great to have you here. The new NBC News poll shows a split in voters' perception of how the candidates.
You notice how they keep saying perception? It's not what we perceive. It's what it is. There's no perception.
Are handling the economy. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, there's been this huge disconnect, right, for months now about what the economy is telling us about how strong it is and what.
You see that? This is a disconnect from what the economy is telling us and from what people are. Hey, yo, there's no disconnect. The people that y'all support, that you up there telling everything is smooth, everything is nice, the economy is great, those people are doing great. Us, the people that you're coming to ask to go vote for Kamala or for these politicians that we know are traitors, we know you're lying, that we're suffering, we catching hell. We can't pay bills, we can't go shopping, we can't eat.
What the numbers are showing for what in terms of what people feel. And we asked our NBC News poll, who's better at dealing with the cost of living? Trump handily has the advantage there. But when you frame it differently, you say who's better at looking out for the middle class, that's where Kamala Harris comes up. So
who are they asking? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Who are they asking? Who are they polling? They're not polling us. They're polling people in the suburbs. That's who they're polling, to get their fake polls. That's why their polls are always wrong, because they're not polling the people. And they know that. She know that. Yo, watch how she start blinking the more she start lying.
It'll be interesting to see if that big disconnect goes into the voting booth with people. The problem for so many people is the cost of living. You know, you remember when inflation was so high, above 9%, and we now have wages running faster, growing faster than inflation for about 18 months now. So at some point, people...
Yeah, she lying? Yeah, she lying? Wages are growing faster than whatever. You see how she lying? Inflation. We just watched charts. Ain't none of that happening. Inflation is growing way faster than wages. Wages are not going nowhere. You a liar. But that's what they allow on there, because this is not really a media station. Like they say, this is just entertainment.
People will start to feel better about their finances, but they keep telling us they don't. And mostly, I think it's the grocery bill. Wages are up 20% over the past 4 years, but the grocery bill is up.
You see how she lied? She lied so quick she can't even keep up. Look at the groceries are up. Look at wages are up. So if you're making like $5, you're making like $5, and let's say they give you a $2 raise, and you might now making $7. So that egg that used to cost $7 is now $8. It's now $9. You're not getting no money. Wages are not going up because you still can't afford nothing. Like, but they think people are so stupid that we can't see what's going on. Keep talking about we just feel it.
22%. You look at all of these different things that cost more today. I've been traveling to all these swing states, and I just keep hearing about how I want gas to be $1.99. You know, I mean, presidents.
Then why are you not listening?
Get too much credit and too much blame for gas prices, but it's just the cost of living that still is a problem for so many people. But there's also this perception. Remember when Donald Trump said if Joe Biden were to become president, it would crash the stock market? Here's the 68% run in the stock market to record highs under Trump, and it has just continued. So conditions in the economy are strong. Conditions for businesses are still good. People's 401ks are fat. Their home prices are high, but there are all these little parts of the economy that just aren't working for people, and that's what they've been complaining so much about.
That's the tough part right there. NBC.
Frauds, man, frauds. But that's enough of the charts, man. That's enough of the charts, because we got to go on. National Trend Investor Buying Unit. What is this right, Secretary General? Oh, this was the Ruckus. This was the Ruckus report, the Ruckus Climb report. The Ruckus Climb report was done.
Can you hear me?
You say what?
I'm asking, can you hear me?
I could hear you, but I got it. I know what it is.
All right.
This report shows the national trend in investor buying of 1 to 4 unit homes in predominantly black neighborhoods is most acute in Newark, New Jersey, where almost half of real estate sales were made by institutional buyers. The trend grew out of the foreclosure crisis that wiped out significant middle-class wealth in particular Newark neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods became the target of investors seeking passive returns from rents. Those largely anonymous outside companies now set neighborhood housing market on terms that primarily benefit their investors. Who allowed them to do that? The politicians at City Hall, the politicians, the mayor, the president. Obama wrote laws that allow companies, banks, to be able to come into our communities and take our homes, 1 to 4 family units, and then change the pricing. Like, the banks couldn't go in and buy people homes like that. Everything that they're doing now, they couldn't do before. These politicians, the mayors, the council people, in real time, wrote laws and policies to allow these people to come in and buy up our homes, for them to steal our homes right from us. While crime detected no illegal activity, it ain't illegal because they wrote laws making it legal. The threats to Newarkers and government policy goals are significant. They include rapidly rising rents. That's what I keep talking about. They doubling people's rent. Decreased home ownership. Higher barriers for affordable housing production goals. Renter displacement. We were displaced too. And increasingly Latino neighborhoods in a state whose communities are among the most segregated in the country. From racial exclusion to predatory lending, from foreclosure to extraction of rents, Newark's experience demonstrates what can happen when local economies ignore equity. Climb's analysis documents a dramatic increase in institutional investors' activity in Newark residential market starting around 2013 as of 2020. Almost half of Newark residential sales were to institutional buyers. These are people we don't know about. Companies coming in. Like, how do you compete with some imperialist company that's coming in to buy up the homes? You can't. But the politicians that you go put in office, all these black politicians, these revolutionaries, they work with the slum lords, they work with these corporations to sell our property away. And then they push us out into the streets. This is the crime report done by Ruckus. Within 3 years, nearly half of Newark residential property was sold to corporate buyers, a model designed to enrich investors, not enrich the people of Newark. Remember, when I become mayor, you become mayor? Through returns from rent collection and a nationwide trend that can displace residents and impede home ownership nationwide. It's not only in Newark. According to Rutgers University, Newark report titled, Who Owns Newark? That's who wrote it. Rutgers did it. They said, who owns Newark? Because they know we don't own it no more, so they're telling us who own it, those corporations. The Rutgers Center on Law, Inequality, and Metropolitan Equity found the city has the highest rate of corporate buyers in the nation. This is Newark, New Jersey, with the politicians down at City Hall, down at the council, MacGyver, what's his name, Pat Council, what's her name? The one with the high heels, the little midget one with the high heels.
Roundtree.
Roundtree, a fake preacher, all of these people, they're the one that wrote these policies and made this okay. Although numbers are rising throughout America, this is especially true in mostly black neighborhoods like North, South, and West Ward. We in the South, baby. I grew up in the West Ward, where corporate property ownership is most prevalent. That's do wrong. Do little. Boy used to be a rapper. Now
Do nothing, Kelly.
Do nothing, Kelly. Now he out here, he a politician out here making money. He used to be with Lost to the Underground. I mean, now he a politician. I remember when he first started running. He was running around against Raz. Raz sat him down, told him, like, listen, man, this is how the game works. You get in here, come under my ticket, you come under Raz Baraka team, and you get in, I'll get you into City Hall and stuff, and then sooner or later, maybe you come for my job later on when I leave. Ain't do wrong, do right, do nothing. Kelly is in there now. All these people that mean us no good. They hate us. They hate us. What has happened in other cities is happening in Newark, but on a scale unmatched anywhere in the county, in the country, according to the report. Between 2017 and 2020, 2,500.
Wait a minute, Chairman. I just need to go back, because when they talk about Newark, they like to use Newark as like the prime model example as what a city is. This report just told you this city of Newark ranks any other city in the country with this problem. So yes, it's a nationwide problem, but in Newark particularly is exponentially worse.
Yes, it is. Between 2017 and 2020, 2,500 homes, more than 47% of the city's 1 to 4 unit buildings were sold to institutional buyers. In Newark, many of the properties were bought by completely anonymous investors, prompting the title of Clown's report, Who Owns Newark? Transferring wealth from Newark homeowners to corporate buyers. That's what politicians do. They transfer wealth from us to those corporations, those elites. Corporate buyers often purchase large batches of single-family homes in one neighborhood and lease them. Now they buy up our homes, now they lease it back to us, paying investors with money collected from rents. The practice is part of a nationwide trend that began when limited liability companies, often backed by large-scale equity investment, became active in residential real estate. I just told you that. Became active in real estate after the foreclosure crisis in 2010. Guess who was president? Guess who was president? Which especially impacted communities of color. Sadly, this reality continues a long pattern of economic threat to predominantly black and increasingly Latino neighborhoods in a state whose communities are among the most segregated in the country, the report states. From racial exclusion to predatory lending, from foreclosures to extraction of rents, Newark experience demonstrates what can happen when local economies ignore equity. Clown found no illegal conduct in Newark analysis. Real estate investing is constitutionally protected activity, the report noted, but it warned of potential harmful consequences. These trends demonstrate the strong probability of rapidly rising rents, lower home ownership rates, a diminished black middle class, market challenges to build affordable homes, and even more housing instability for low and moderate income Newarkers and displacement, according to the report. Not according to Africa, according to the report. I mean, that's what it's saying. It's saying these politicians, they're not even here. Some of them not here. 1, 2, 3. They're not even at work. They're not here. They're not there to listen to the public. You see, when people say local politics, focus on local politics, that's how you change everything. That's a lie. Local politics is more corrupt. It's more corrupt than federal. Do Nothing Kelly is back here. Do Nothing Kelly is back here. You see, he's black right here. This is Pat Council. This is son. He just got that seat. He didn't even have to run for nothing. His mother left up out of there, Trump's son, and they just gave him the seat. Now he's the president. Now McIver, another black one left. They go the short stripper one over here. She right here with the wig on her head, sitting over here. He's Spanish, and this guy over here, I think he's Spanish, but he's not here either. But it's all black and Spanish people that's up there. I mean, so when they say local politics, when you hear these people, these rich people that don't know nothing about politics on the ground, that know nothing about our communities, all these people that you listen to, when they tell you get involved in local politics, they're stupid, they're ignorant, or they're sellouts. That's the only thing that can explain their ignorance. Because if you know anything about local politics, you know it's a fisticuff game down here. It's a bloody game down here. They play dirty and they play for keeps. There's nothing down here that's up for the people to come and you not changing nothing. All those politicians up there belong to corporations. And I'm about to show you how they use that money to control the community and to silence the community.
1 second, Chairman. Just to piggyback off the housing situation, where they mentioned that most of these houses are owned by LLCs, companies. There's this one slumlord. He owns 22 apartment buildings in Newark. It's called, and then I guess their company is Boomers LLC. But for some reason, the tenants can't find who this person is. They go to City Hall and ask the council people. The council people don't even know who these people are. But he is making all this money in Newark with 22 properties, and he is one of the biggest slumlords.
Rent strike. We need to do a rent strike. That's the new project we're going to be working on. Rent strike. You shouldn't be getting a dime. Come down and come collect it. Come down and come collect it. We in Newark, yo. We got to start acting like we really from Newark. Everybody in that building, you ain't getting a dime. Come get it. That's how we should be moving. And then when he come down to come get it, he call the police, we all show up. Because all the power's in the people. Let them go to 100, 200, 300 people to try to go in there to go kick those people out. That's not happening. They're not doing that. But we're not doing nothing. I mean, we're not organized. Let me play the video.
Munir El Boumani. It's always a slave catcher coming behind us.
Since I've been working, since I came home from prison and I started getting active politically, Munira was out here. Me and Munira didn't get along. We had our issues. Of course, I got issues with everybody. But when something happened, anything happened, you could tell the people that are really sincere. Because Munira would come. Yo, I'm talking about me and Munira had arguments, yo. We was arguing like we were like bitter enemies. But as soon as something happened, Munira would come check up. See, because like some people, they don't get paid to be activists or revolutionary. It's in them. So she's been coming here. Right behind her is Cassandra Dock. Is Cassandra Dock on here? Did you put a video on here too?
No, I didn't put Cassandra Dock.
No problem. But that's Cassandra Dock. Since I came home from prison, they've been here protesting about the school, protesting about everything, demanding change in the community. That's who she is. I know her. Everybody in the city that's part of this work know what she has been doing, know the work she's been putting in. I mean, let me let her speak real quick.
When we make comments on this podium, always got to be one. Get the BA. Now we got these other slave catchers coming behind the comment. If the shoe fit, wear it. If it don't, take it off. We ain't just.
And part of this, I'm sorry to cut it off. And part of this is to show like this is a city council meeting in Newark, New Jersey. These are the citizens. The citizens come in every 2 weeks complaining about the conditions on the ground. These politicians do nothing. They don't even listen. You see how they got their bubble glasses off, their walled off? Yo, they put that up there during COVID. They still got that stuff off. They're never going to take it down because they're not part of the people. They don't want to be with the people. So, but she's coming up there to let them know, get a few things off her chest.
Say everybody in here sex for hire. But anyway, good riddance. Failed leadership, no other way to describe our government. Black slave catchers, white slave catchers, you are all one and the same. Okay? And is no respect for either administration. We crack the whip on every administration in this city, and I've been on this front line doing this for almost 30 years. None of y'all...
30 years. Don't get paid. Been out here fighting for the cause for 30 years, trying to change the conditions, speaking up for people out here. 30 years. These are the people that's supposed to be getting commended in the city. When they talk about people that the children are supposed to be learning about, they're supposed to be learning about people like this, that selflessly give themselves to the community. 30 years. She's been demanding change. Because you know they say we don't want change. We don't show up to the school board council meetings. That's what they say. That's what they say about the people in our communities. But 30 years, and she's still going. Most people done tapped out. Most people like, yo, they're not going to do nothing.
All are exempt. None of you. Message to the people of Newark, keep on voting for them. Keep voting blue for these dishonorable Democrats from the Essex County Party. You will remain and continue, as we always come up here and say, you will continue to remain the last on the totem pole with these people in office. These politricksters are helping everybody but us in this city. Everybody but us in this city. Newarkers are living in the worst conditions under your Democratic administration. Failed leadership, no other way to describe you. We got high rents, high foreclosures, an eviction tsunami, poor municipal services, crime, poverty, joblessness, homelessness, housing crisis, corruption. The corrupt breeding more corruption and criminality, wasteful spending, and budget mismanagement. You name it, we got it. That's what we got here. Newarkers, it is beyond time. We keep coming up here saying it's beyond time to get rid of him, vote him out of office. You did a recall. It should have been this like wildfire, that recall. Vote them all out of office is the only solution. The only one. And like I said when I came up here, what happened and why we got this beast that y'all call in office is because of you. It is a reason why he's in here. It's a reason. Either it's going to make you stronger and, nothing more than we don't endure Jim Crow. So I know we could endure the Trump administration. We done endured all of that. We endured your pain that you placed on us. So we know we could endure that. Failed leadership. All you could come here is push sanctuary cities and policies, but you won't enforce the first source hiring laws that's on the book to hire Newarkers. It is an abomination. Like I said, deputy mayor of full employment? Really? Seriously? Out of here! No other way but out of here. But he got a restaurant, okay, off the backs of trying to act like he's some labor union guy. You are a disgrace. You are a travesty to the black community. An abomination. No other way to describe you. They won't even pass a reparation bill to address the systematic racism, discrimination, and disparities that we have experienced. Resist the Democrats is no other solution. No other.
But you hear how she's speaking. She didn't say nobody's name. Her focus was on the administration. On the administration. The puppets that are in place, the right policies and right laws. These are the people. All the gentrification in Newark, all the housing crisis, everything that people are dealing with. These are the politicians that wrote the laws to make it possible for us to be catching hell here. Why we got to work 2-3 jobs. It's dumb. But she focused on dumb. I'm saying that for a reason. This is the rapper. Do it all. Do right, Kelly. The one that used to be a rapper. These are pictures of him at a weed shop that was opening up but downtown North. So like he got his friends in the hip hop game, the rappers and the friends. This is the one from that's Charlamagne the God back there. This is Raekwon from Wu-Tang. Like these are they got a weed shop. So you come in here, you a mayor, the people are catching hell. It's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of shit going on. Excuse my language. There's a lot of stuff going on in the community. And what you do, what you come in here, this is what you're investing in. You're getting money for people to come in here and open up drug factories. Because people only use drugs to escape their reality. So you're not going to deal with the reality, so put more drug companies in the community. But this is what rappers do for us in our community. That's what they do when they get into power. They exploit the community. They poison the community. I mean, like, yo, I used to be a fan of hip-hop. I used to be a fan of Raekwon. I used to be a fan of Wu-Tang. I used to be a fan of, I grew up on hip-hop. Yo, I despise the whole genre now because these people are disgusting.
And one point I like to make, we know weed is legal and anybody could smoke whatever they want. The problem with this is they are getting public funding, public resources. Like that store is not all their own money. They had to apply to the city to get that building. They had to apply to whoever to get funding because celebrities, millionaires, billionaires, they never use their money to come up with these projects and stuff. They use government money.
But even so, weed is legal. You know, how come you didn't put that into a cooperative for the people in North to own that business? All the people that they locked up, all the families they broke up for them doing the drug, whatever. Yo, why didn't you get the families? Why don't you turn that into a cooperative that is owned by the people? So the people in North are benefiting from that space. Instead, you sold it to somebody that don't even live here, that doesn't live in North, is not from North.
Aaliyah Clark.
I don't want to go to Aaliyah yet. I want to go to True V first.
Speaker, please. All right, peace and bless to the people. There's a lot of energy in here. Why do y'all keep doing that?
This is True V. If True V was sitting right here next to me, I would say everything that I'm about to say. Because it is what it is. It's real. Yo, True V is a political what? What is it called, Patience? A political what?
Oh my God. Lapdog.
No. He works for Ras Baraka.
Yeah.
Was it a political opponent or something? What's the word?
No, I think it's political.
Operative. A political operative. Yo, True V is a political operative. He works for the mayor. He's been working for the mayor for years, maybe decades. The nonprofit money that they send down, the mayor cut a check and he gives it to the groups. True V's part of those groups. I mean, he's gonna name them. He's gonna name all those nonprofits that the mayor's really controlling. That really, everything that they do is at the mayor's behest. So he comes up here. He's not a normal resident, normal citizen coming to speak. True V is in partnership with Pat Council, with Do Right Kelly, Do Wrong, Do Right, Do It All, whatever his name is, with him right here, this black guy over here, Trump's son. I don't even know his name. We're just going to call him Trump's son. And over here, Roundtree. You see, they got the mayor's team. When they have events, the True V, Sharif Imhotep, the fake Black Panther, he with them, all them other organizations that they have, they bring all these people out to intimidate people, to intimidate the activists in the community, anybody that's willing to speak out. I'm going to say it again. Pat Council, Do Wrong Kelly, Trump's son, and her right here, Roundtree. They're all on the mayor's team. And this is the mayor's, mayor's muscle in North. So now when people like Monera come up to speak, they're going to come up here and try to bully her. Try to bully people in the city not to speak up, not to say anything. When the people in the city know these people have been writing policies to make their life a living hell, to take away their homes, they go hire people like True V. to come and intimidate people down in City Hall, intimidate people and lie. Listen to what he gonna come up here and say.
Like, seriously.
Mr. Vaughn.
Lamont Vaughn.
Thank you.
Newark, New Jersey. I'm not here to talk about what these people are doing because it's just lying sabotage.
You hear that? He just said whatever they say, because Cassandra got up to talk, Munira got up to talk. He's saying what they're doing, what they're saying about housing, what they're saying about is going on the ground. They're just lying. We just saw the charts. We just read the report from Rutgers, but he's up there saying that they're lying. Real talk, True V. You looking tight funny, man. Yo, you're not making no sense up there. The politicians not our friend. These are our enemies. And because they pay you, they help you get out of jail, they do stuff for you, that don't mean we should all respect them. For real, True V. You need to check yourself, my guy. Real talk. You coming something different. Ain't nothing true about that, V.
Some of this stuff is just ridiculous. I want to talk about what I was talking about previously at the previous council meeting where the officers came up here and, tried to undermine the work that the Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery and the Brick City Peace Collective and all of our partners.
Those are all the mayor's group. Those are all the mayor's group that he just mentioned. All of them. The mayor's in charge of all of them. He cuts that nonprofit money that they're getting, that state federal money that they're getting. All of those groups, they're not real groups that are from the people, organic from the people. Yo, the mayor put these people together to put this group to anti-violence. What is anti-violence? What violence are they stopping? They're not stopping nothing. They go around after somebody died, they go make a circle and they go down there and they talk. And then they blame the people in the community for what happened to them. That's what y'all do. You're not stopping nothing. What anti-violence? Yo, gentrification is violence. Starving out here is violence. Not being able to take care of your family is violence. Y'all not stopping that. Y'all just a front for the mayor.
Partners, many of whom are in the audience today, are doing in this community. Specifically, Lieutenant Denard said at that meeting that he didn't understand what conflict resolution was. He said, whatever that is. And I began to talk about what that is, but I want to talk about what that is or has been for the last 7 days, right? And I want to talk about the players who have been out there in the field, some of which you've had personally seen, because
I don't care what you're about to say. The only reason I played this video, I wanted you to see how he was talking to the other activists that are coming in there to come in here and hold these politicians accountable or say to their face that they're criminal, slave catchers, sellouts. He's now standing on the side of the politicians to now talk about the activists, the real activists that are coming in there to speak up against them. That's all I wanted to show, True V. I wanted to show how you speak about these people. These people that are really heroes in our community, that don't do it for any money. Let's go back to somebody else. Now this is so the prior meeting, I think we talked about it in our last video or 2 videos ago. But the prior meeting, the police department came down. They said Tut and New Direction shouldn't be getting any money. That the money that they're getting is supposed to be given to one of the police officers that died, their wives or something like that. And they called him a cop killer. How is he part of any? But that's where the police came. So they're here. Tut is here, and they're here to try to rebut that and say how good a person Tut is. I don't know him personally. I know of him. But what I know of him, it ain't that good. Because the first time I met him, he was taking up for the police. When I met him, he was taking up for the police. He stood between us and getting into an event to go address the mayor. Because he part of the mayor's nonprofit group, whatever. The mayor fund and pay for whatever they're doing. So he came there. The mayor called him up for them to come stop us from entering an event. And right behind him was the police. The police was backing him up. So you can't come here and sit here today and you telling me like the police are calling you a murderer and all that. I don't care, bro. You stood with them. Those your mans. In fact, he asked me if the police ever oppressed me. Hey, Tut, the police ever oppress you? Let me put it on, man.
Speaker, please.
All right, peace and blessings to the people.
You know, there's a lot of energy in here, man. You know, so we all just gotta just relax, man, and and just thank God for all us just being here, being able to.
That's Sharif back here, the fake Black Panther, right here. That's Sharif right there. Sharif Imhotep, fake Black Panther, bro. Ain't no Black Panther running around here protecting mayors, being private security for mayors, going places. Lying for the people, for imperialists. He right here. He right there. I don't know what kind of Black Panther like he think he is, or whoever giving him respect, but him, Baba Zaid, yo, they are disgrace to Pantherism. But this is the Tut right here. This is Tut. This is the one I was taking up for the police. This is the one that the police came to city council, say why y'all giving him money, he's a cop killer.
Come together and figure this thing out, how we could bring, peace and safety to each other. A lot of people coming in here, doing a lot of name calling and using this platform, to bash people. We should be using.
See that? The mayor paid them, the mayor controlled them, and now they come in to come intimidate the people in there. That they're coming in here bashing people. How you bashing somebody that we see the gentrification efforts? We see all our homes that they done sold away. How is it bashing by telling them they're sellouts? You see, but they put money in his pocket. He got a city job too. He work on the garbage truck. I bet you he get his paycheck.
And he says nothing about those workers not getting paid.
Yeah.
Up here.
He up here defending politicians.
Support him and his organization.
I see garbage people every time in the city, and they talk about how they're not getting paid down there. I saw one a couple of days ago, I believe on Monday. It was like 4 of them inside the store, and they were telling me like, yo, Africa, stay on them, yo. Africa, stay on them. But he's not here to talk about those people. He's here to talk about the politicians that's paying them. Yo, Ted, I'm not lying on you, bro. You could come next week on the show, and we could have this conversation. Because I'm going to post this on social media so people can see it. Because this is Newark news. This is real Newark news. This is the real deal McCoy in Newark right here. We're the only ones telling the truth, helping the community. Everything y'all doing is a fraud. Y'all doing it at the behest of the mayor. How you think you are able to go inside those schools? You're able to go inside those jails because the mayor calls those people and they give you access to those spaces. That's how you're able to get in there. But all these revolutionaries that you're talking about that are in there, that you're talking about, they talking whatever, they talking crazy. Like, you know nothing about doing this work if you're not getting paid. You don't. You don't know the work. You don't know the science. You haven't studied. You don't know nothing about those charts. You don't understand nothing about the economy and why people catching the hell they catching. But because they're paying you, you refuse to let that hairline go. You walk up here with that do-rag and you just start lying. Just like you lying about that hairline. Cut your hair, bro. Let it go. We all cut out. It happened to all of us. You see, mine is gone. I cut my hair. Let it go. Dude, that's how you can really tell somebody a fraud when they don't want to let that hairline go. Look at Sharif. You see his forehead? All these people that are frauds, you could just see them. Look at Sharif. Look at him back here. Look at that forehead. But that hairline going back further and further. He ain't going to cut that thing because he a fraud. He think people still falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Like we don't see it. We see y'all.
These platforms to build each other up and find out what's the real solutions that we need.
See that? See the stupid thing he just said? We're going to use this platform to build each other up. That's not what those platforms are there for. That's for the people to come and hold these politicians accountable. It ain't there to be nice, play nice games with them. It ain't here for us to hug each other, kumbaya, for liberalism. We don't do liberalism. That space is there for the community to come and say what is going on in their lives, what they're seeing. Man, I don't know how long I could play this.
To build in our community, to protect our people. So my name is Khalil Tut. I'm the president and founder of an organization called New Direction. New Direction is something that I created when I came home from prison. I served a significant amount of time in prison for, a high-profile situation that happened in our city. It brought a lot of pain and trauma to our city, and I was a part of that. And I was a part of, that gang culture, that violent gang culture, that unrepentant gang culture.
I don't care. He's not saying nothing. I don't care what he's saying. Now, I want to, what you call it? I don't care what he's saying.
Aaliyah Clark.
Aaliyah Clark, okay.
Yes.
Fury.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Clark. I am also one of the members of New Direction. And I'm here because I was distraught about even listening or coming to the last council meeting where you had officers speaking ill will in regards to Khalil Tut and the Office of Violence and Prevention, Trauma, and Brick City Peace Collective, because I'm here to stand in front of all you activists, all you young, older women. Y'all not setting a great example for us.
Yeah. She's really there to come and attack the activists, the older women that's been there for 30, 40 years. Through numerous administration, trying to hold these people accountable for the schools, for housing, for sanitation, for everything. Those people that are way more politically astute than you're there to go in there and disrespect them. Because these people up here, because you're not up here just because you're up here, they're paying you to be up here. That's why you have that New Direction shirt on. But you're up there to disrespect them, to disrespect these women that paved the way for you to even be standing up there. But you don't even know. You don't know no better. Because the mayor, the council people, all these people been lying to you. Been paying you for you to go out here and do their fake activism, so you don't even know what's real no more, and you just standing there insulting these people. Let me put it on so y'all can hear her.
And I'm starting right there, because we were taught to respect our elders, we were taught to respect authority, and we supposed to stand on that. How are y'all asking them to stand and y'all not standing for us? Y'all the people. Y'all the adults that we supposed to be hearing and listen to, Miss Manira. We hear you. We hear you. You don't have to respect what Raz, but you said you respect the people. So we're speaking to you now. I don't care what you don't like, but I'm
You're not the people. You are not the people. You are a political operative. Manira's not speaking for you. I'm not speaking for you. You are a political operative for the mayor. You work for the mayor and these politicians. You do not speak for the people. If nobody ever told you that, I'm telling you now. And I'm not lying to you. You will take it to the bank. You are not the people. You are a political operative. Look it up. Google that. I'm giving you free political education here.
Talking to you now directly, because you spoke on about how people are getting money out here and getting everything from Khalil Tut, or getting money of organizations of OVPTR doing. No, they are doing the best that they can for what they got and what they're being given.
For what they got. Who gave them what they got? You getting paid by politicians to do their bidding.
But hold on, Chairman.
Go ahead.
If anybody been following the nonprofits and the money and all that stuff, I'm reading through her words. That money is drying up. They're doing the best they can with what they got. They got millions of COVID money for those programs. So where is the money?
Drying up, and they don't put the bill in to cut that nonprofit money anyway.
We're struggling every day. I don't see you in Bradley Court 24/7. I don't see you down on the 9. I don't see you down there in higher court. I don't see
you. I see you nowhere. We going out giving out food. We do pig patrols. I don't see you. I don't see none of y'all. I don't see y'all. The only place y'all go, like I said, is where the mayor has sanctioned y'all to go. Y'all not. If they're not paying y'all, y'all not going outside to do anything. They got to pay you. You got to be part of that group, those nonprofits that I want to say laundering money, allegedly laundering money to. Allegedly. Because if these groups are not grassroots and they belong to him and he's giving them money as if they're grassroots nonprofits, and that's laundering of money. Because all they're going to do is do his bidding. He's just giving money to his own company.
You across town in the South with me and Pat and with Doing All and all of us. I don't see you down there when the gunshots are ringing and Khalil Tut standing in front of gang wars, stopping gang wars. I don't see that. So everybody that's speaking up here today, we're speaking about what's really factual. We're trying to tell you facts today. Facts is Safe Passage is working. Safe Passage of New Direction, Brick City people.
Facts is you're a political operative. You wouldn't need Safe Passage if these politicians didn't write policies to make everybody got to work 2-3 jobs so they're not home to give their children passage home. They're not home to take care of their children. That's facts. If these politicians, they had the school all screwed up where you got like 30 kids in one classroom, we wouldn't have to have all these issues. If they deal with the poverty issues in the community, they deal with education, we wouldn't need you to go there and get paid by Ras Baraka to do safe passage as if that's going to change anything. Because it's not. Unless you deal with the root of the problem, you're not changing nothing. So continue.
This collective is working. You know why? That's why murders are reduced. That's why these kids are standing here today who your most dangerous.
Crime went down all around the country. Crime is going down everywhere. Murders are down everywhere. They don't have you all around the country. New Direction is not all around the country.
But check this out, Chairman. Crime is going down all around the country, yet they're building cop cities.
Cop cities.
$300 million cop city.
Cop cities.
Why do we need that if crime is down?
They build that in North.
Anti-violence. If we got all these anti-violence programs, crime is going down. Why would you reward a police department that's still under consent decree for brutalizing residents for decades? Why would you reward them with a $300 million cop city?
Because they're all frauds and they're doing nothing to change nothing, and they're building those cop cities to be able to house all the people that they know the government is going to fail and the people are going to rise up. Because sooner or later, people are going to rise up. I give it a couple of years. People are really going to rise up and demand equity, and they're getting prepared by using people like her to come after activists. That's a strategic play. Everything that's going on here is a strategic play by these council people and the mayor. They brought these people here to attack the community. They brought them there. They paid them and brought them there, miseducated them to come and attack the people that are really fighting for the community for free. You see, she's there. She's getting paid. Nobody's paying Munira. Nobody's paying Munira to be there. And she's been there for 30 years. You just came around last week, and you're coming up here disrespecting her. I want to say something.
Children. They come to us. They come to the OVPC office, and she relied. Kalisha Winfield relied on our help. Keisha Yuri relied on our help. We are their help. In these...
All those people she's mentioning, those are all people that work in the administration, Ras Baraka administration. I'm almost done. It's
Charter schools
2:40.
just gave us something that North didn't give us yet. They didn't give us an opportunity to safe passage, and we're coming today to ask for opportunity to safe passage because we promise you we can reduce some of your problems in the...
So I'm going to stop it there, yo. So she's asking for safe passage. Did she say the charter schools haven't given them the ability for them to come there and do safe passage? Yo, don't nobody got to give you the ability to do nothing. Yo, you from North. This your home. You could go wherever you want to go. See, but you ain't trying to do that. You're not going if you're doing it for free. You believe activism and liberation, our freedom, you got to get paid for it. The government got to pay you for you to go do the work against the government. You're weird. You don't make no sense. But you don't know no better. But you're not going to listen, even if you saw this video, because I'm going to post it for you to see it. You're not going to listen to me. You're not going to listen because they're paying you. And you're not in this.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but not only that, she's family with Pat Council. She says that in her thing. So she's not even up there for New Direction. She's up there for her family. She's up there for self.
For self. But you're trying to mask yourself as if you're doing something for the community. You're doing nothing for the community. Everything you're doing is for yourself. It's for you to get money. Because if you're really serious, just go to Barringer. Go to them charter schools. Whatever charter school you want to go in front there and make sure they have safe passage in. Just go there. Don't nobody got to stop you. We got an after-school program. We didn't ask nobody. We feeding people. We didn't have to go to the government to go ask them for money to feed people. That comes from the people. When you start organizing the people, you start finding all these resources that's out there from the people. The food that we give out, the chicken, the steak, what's somebody was calling that? Fish steak or something he was calling it yesterday. All the stuff that we give out, the lamb chops, everything, it came from the people. It came from the people, not from City Hall. City Hall don't do nothing. They ain't giving us nothing. In fact, they go out during Thanksgiving and they give out one turkey. They make people stand in line wrapping around the corner to give out one turkey for them to come stand up there for a photo op. Those are the people you work for. Yo, we bring people food, a box full of food, greens, meats, whatever. Everything is in there. We put it in the box. We pack it. I help pack it. Because we outside, we put all that stuff together and we put it in the car. We go deliver it to people's homes for free. Why are we doing that? To organize the people, to speak to the people. We let them know if you need anything, if you're struggling with anything, you'll let us know. Yo, that take time. That take years. This is not reactionary work. This take love of the people. For you to use your own money. See, I've been talking about not getting paid. Imagine using your own money out your pocket to be able to do these things in the community. To serve the community. That's what we talking about. Y'all scammers. All of y'all in these groups, these fake groups for the mayor, y'all scammers. Y'all scamming the community. Ain't nothing getting better. The only people eating is y'all. And you can't debate me on that. Because I spoke to True V. I told True V. I'm like, yo, bro, like, I'm never going to stop talking about people being made homeless. I'm not. About gentrification, them doubling people's rents. I told True V that to his face. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, I don't know what the mayor do. I don't even know where he live at. I don't care about none of them. All I care about is what they're doing to the people. That's all we care about. Allowing these slum laws to displace residents. Nothing like this has ever happened in the city of Newark, and this is on our time. This is on our time, True V, on your time, on Sharif time. I mean, the books that will be written with your names in it and what side y'all stood on. Y'all stood on Massa side. Y'all was in Massa house. Y'all the house Negroes. Why the mass of the people on the plantation, we not even on the scale. They don't even have us on the scale of income and wealth. They don't have us nowhere around there. But I'm going to tell y'all this. I'm going to leave y'all with this. They came and got Sharp. They got, what's his name, sons? Lumumba's son. I remember they got Jesse Jackson's son. They going around rounding up all these black fake politicians. And sooner or later they're going to throw them in the clinker for all these crimes, all these illegal things that they're doing. Like you think, like I'm giving you 100. If I'm y'all, I will leave all them organizations because they're going to come after them. I didn't play the clip with Alif Muhammad saying how the FBI been investigating Ras Baraka and the FBI say the whole administration is corrupt. Most of you in these groups, y'all know about the law. You know how when they come down, all of you that can afford a lawyer, y'all going to be the one holding the bag. If I was y'all, I'll leave them groups. I will leave them groups because they're coming sooner or later. They're coming for Raz. And when they come for him, he's going to throw you all under the bus. He already threw a couple of people under his bus. His wife had a bracelet on. They had her on home arrest. His best friend, Kabari, whatever his name is, they locked him up for a couple of years. I don't know if that other councilman, if they locked up that councilman yet, but they're going one by one. They're coming closer and closer. They're going to be at the door one day. Yo, somebody saying something?
Mic check.
Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay, brother. This is Brother Farge. Please, I can give you extra time. I want to hear the clip by Brother Alif. I haven't seen him in a while. I know the brother. If you have time. If you don't, I guess I'll have to wait the next week.
You said the video with Alif?
With Brother Alif Muhammad, yes.
You want to see that video?
No, I'm on the phone, brother. I can listen to it.
Oh, my bad. Hey, General Secretary, come get it up here, man.
It's the next slide.
Is it?
It is. Okay.
With Alif Muhammad?
Keep going. That's it right there. No, go back.
Yeah. There you go. I'm about to play it right now. Listen.
I rest, brother and sister. Thank you.
All power to the people. Now check this out. This is what we're going to end on. If anybody got something to say, you could talk to me after he's done. But Alif is going to explain this better than I could ever explain it. All power to the people.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Alif Muhammad, Court Towers. Alif Muhammad, Nia School President. See, when people talk about courage, that's why you don't have the minister administrator here right now. He has courage. I gave this out yesterday, and oh, good. Here you go. Good. I'm glad you're here. The same thing
I gave out the same thing when everybody was there, but I put something different in there. I put in a letter from the New Jersey Supreme Court, and it's in reference to our beloved business administrator, that they admonished him. Louise, I know you for 50-something years. I know your Scott legacy. President Trump, I know you for 40 years. When a person say personal things about somebody, you can't be biased. And the reason why I'm a little upset with you two guys is because when he got finished a month ago, you both guys said, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Now, Louise, I didn't say that the mayor is corrupt. When I had the first meeting, when I filed a complaint against the Housing Authority and the federal policy came there, they asked me, was Ras Baraka corrupt? And I said no. Then the next week when I came to their office, they told me everybody's corrupt, including your mayor. So it's not me that's saying he's corrupt. It's the federal criminal authorities that say he's corrupt. Now, as far as my fiduciary responsibility, as you've seen before and I said yesterday, I brought in on April the 12th, April the 14th, 2021, I filed a complaint with OIG with HUD. When I filed that complaint, I also filed a suit. And then the same day that I filed the complaint, the mayor tried to remove me from the commission as commissioner of the Housing Authority. Now, y'all don't even know this, Rain Wilson. He tried to put it on Latinos. He said Latinos was removing me. But what he didn't know was that African Americans was going to stay if they did do it. Sharp James had told his son, he said, tell the Barakas to fight their own battle. Now, so what I'm showing here is where I went, the first page is the civil action. I asked for a stay because of investigation. He said, I didn't notify my fiduciary responsibility. But not only I asked, I said, I need a stay because there's an investigation. Then I said, okay, when I do come to meeting, I want to bring 3 hours of a conversation video of me and the MIDI talking, where he's trying to convince me to not do my job. Then when I brought that in, the clerk said, I don't want to be a part of this. Then LaMonica called me and said, a man want to meet me. Y'all didn't know he met me. And he said, let's resolve this. So the deal was, I dropped the suit and they stopped removing me. But the investigation had to go on. Both of us agreed that I could not stop the investigation. Then what I did to show you my fiduciary responsibility, I took federal authorities on my emails and I came 40 times to show you. And if you look at some of the stuff, you'll see some of the stuff I'm talking about. If you look at the index, you'll see where I talked about. So I reported 30 times. I met with the federal authorities about 25 times. Louise, there's things I can't say that's criminal, that they won't allow me to say. Certain things I don't say at all. Now, I have talked to them over 80 times. And this all started 3 years ago. If you look real good, you'll see different things I talked about. Different things I talked about. So as far as me not proving what I say, I come up here and work slides little butt to death by giving evidence, and then I got 3 hours of conversation. Let's do it. Let's me and you go down to the FBI building. They would love to talk to you with my 3 hours of conversation, Mr. B.A. You big and bad. And remember something, B.A., you're not a lawyer here. You're a business administrator. So you don't have no, what they call privilege. Ain't no privilege here. If you see a crime, you're supposed to report it. The next person I'm coming back and talk about, if you see on the page, it says Cherie Morris. That's my next thing. Blessed Thanksgiving, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
That's Alif Muhammad. You heard what he told you. I'm not the one that's saying that the mayor's under investigation, the FBI watching them. You heard, this was years ago. They've been watching them for years. When they come to that door to come put them cuffs on, just make sure you ain't standing between him and his master. Let them come take him. So if you belong to any of them nonprofit groups that they funneling money to, that they washing money with, if I'm you, I just slide up out of that. All power to the people. Anybody got anything? We can chop it up. If not, I got things to do, baby. Got to serve the people. Anybody got something? Going once? Going twice?
Something to say.
All power to the people. What's up?
All power to the people. What a dynamic program. Oh, my God. So
Thank
much
you.
information. I mean, talking about dotting the I's and crossing the T's, this information really needs to disseminate more so than just here. Podcasters. I mean, this is just, I mean, I'm just sitting back in awe. You know, I'm going to have to listen over it to go on Broadcaster and listen over to it and maybe take some stuff out of there if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, take it out. Yeah, do what you do.
I'm telling you, brother, this is deep. This is some deep stuff here. I mean, like you just said, talking about hard-hitting news, I mean, you can't get any hard-hitting than this. I mean, I'm telling you, you guys deserve.
All power to the people. No, that's what I went to school for. Yeah, when I came out of prison, I went to school for sociology. Well, I went to school for psychology because I wanted to understand why the world worked the way it did. But I don't know why. Now I don't know why I went for psychology. But Dr. Calfani at Essex County pulled me aside and he was like, look, you're real brilliant, man. I think you should go into sociology. So I went into sociology to understand how the world works, and I started learning all of these things. I started reading all of these things, and I'm looking like, wow. How come nobody ever put it like this? I mean, if I understood things like this, I wouldn't have ended up in prison. So we just decided to just bring it out to the people. Everything that I learned, it is my duty to bring it right back to the people. So like every week.
Down to the least common denominator, and that piece about how, you know, votes or how you can have, you want something and it can't go through. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I had to play that about 3 times. I mean, for it to really crunch in my head. It's like you don't want to believe it, but it's just the truth. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. But I really thank you.
I thank you for being here. I thank you.
For bringing this hard-hitting news. I'm telling you, you guys deserve an Emmy Award. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else?
Keep up the good work, my brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All power to the people. Hey, P, we ready to wrap it up?
Yes, all power to the people. You can end it. End meeting for all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, you're going to have to come out here. You know I'm not good with this stuff right here. Look, I'm already pressing the wrong stuff.
Well, everything you were saying, like it's a good dinner.
Oh, you there? What'd you say?
Everything you were saying is like the greatest dinner I ever tasted.
All power to the people. Who am I talking to?
My name is Miles Williams. I'm from Patterson.
All power to the people, Miles. Hey, make sure you leave some information so we can find out how to get in touch with you.
Hey, I be on these shows all the time, sir.
All power to the people. Hey, Miles, you see our number down here, right? 862-283-9917?
9917?
Yes, if you need anything, if you want to talk on anything, always feel free to call that number.
You're welcome.
All power to the people. Go ahead. What you want me to know?
Hold on. Just one last thing. The best podcast in the Newark area and beyond. Yes, but all power to the people.
All power to the people. All power to the people.